Hello and welcome to the 7 Minutes Podcast, the show where we talk about video games like absolutely no other podcast on the internet. I'm Zach, and going around the table counterclockwise, we have Angie.
Hello.
Robert.
Hi.
And Dom.
Hello.
Not a guest, a regular.
Yes.
So, a 4-person podcast.
Indeed.
Fantastic Four.
I have to resist the impulse to try and figure out who's who. But, okay, moving on. As we talked about last...
Well, there's no question. Robert's the Thing. Dom's Johnny Storm. And you're Mr. Fantastic.
Robert is Johnny Storm.
Oh.
Can I be Jessica Alba?
Yeah, can I be just a Alba? Never see me again. I have everything I need right here.
Cool. Last time we had talked about setting up a Metacritic fantasy draft. To recap very briefly, we each picked a slate of games and are tracking what the Metacritic review scores of those games end up being, and hopefully we have the highest aggregate total at the end of the year. Since we last recorded, there have been several games that have come out, starting with, on the 21st of February, 2 that were on Dom's list, Atomic Heart and Like a Dragon Ishin. Dom, how'd that go for you?
Well, they averaged out, I think, to close to 80 between the two of them. Not where I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Not even really close.
Well, it's a step
I thought
up.
Like a Dragon was going to be 85. And I had higher hopes for Atomic Heart. I thought it would at least be an 80. Because personally, I was super hyped for Atomic Heart. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of the trend of my list in the 70s.
Atomic Heart's a cool looking game.
It is.
You and I were talking about that before recording. Like it looks great in screenshots, looks great in motion. It's a cool concept, like Soviet Bioshock, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting. I'm playing it now. We'll get more into that when we talk about what we've been playing. But I mean, I honestly, after playing a few hours, I would probably say that's fair. 76, 77. But for my list, I wanted much higher.
Sure.
Yeah, especially to cancel out Tails. So, yeah, moving on.
And then a couple days after that, on the 24th, both Octopath Traveler 2 and the new Kirby game, which I can't remember all that. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe?
Yes.
Is that it? Okay. Angie, that was one of yours, and Octopath was one of Robert's. How'd you guys feel about those scores?
Well, Kirby is right now sitting at an 80. Like Dom, I would have hoped it would have been at least maybe like an 85. And to be honest with you, I actually think 80 is a little low for that game. It's not the best Kirby game ever, and I think it's probably not as good as Forgotten Land. But it's a really good game. It's very solid.
Forgotten Land was the one where he eats a car. Okay.
Among other things. So
Kirby's only sitting at an 80?
Yeah.
I'm gonna check again while we're talking, but yeah, I was a little. I felt like that was actually underscored. But
I checked the scores before recording.
Okay.
So if there's been a change, it's been in the last 2 hours.
Remind me, is it a remake or a completely complete overhaul of the game?
it's not a complete overhaul, but there is new content.
Okay.
It's like Magalore has his own side quest, like kind of prequel story now.
It's an epilogue.
I thought it was prior.
No, I think it's after.
I don't know.
It's an epilogue, I'm pretty sure.
I'm not sure. But more content with Magalore that wasn't in the original. I believe there's some new mini games. And then there's one brand new, like series new transformation for Kirby. It's like mech Kirby. So there's some new content in addition to the
Mech, but not a Robobot.
No, not a Robobot.
Yeah, it's Magalore's epilogue.
Yeah.
So it's after.
Okay.
But anyway, I do feel like 80's a little low for that game.
So it'd be a fair. I haven't played Octopath Traveler 2, so I can't speak to its quality at all. It's at an 84, so I'm just happy in terms of it keeping my percentage up. But that seems about right. The series has a lot of love, so it's not like it's one of the greatest games ever, though. So I think 84 sounds reasonable.
I thought it was higher than that.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, it's 86.
Maybe the PlayStation version is a little higher than the
right,
Switch
right.
version.
It says 84.
If you want to commit to the Switch version specifically, we can keep you at 84. But
Yes. So for the rules, it's the best.
Oh, I didn't know- I
whatever
didn't know-
console.
I didn't know it was on other consoles.
Yeah, it's on Switch and PlayStation. It skipped Xbox.
That's PS5.
Even though the first
I'll take
Octopath
it.
Traveler is on Xbox and not on PlayStation. Yeah, Square.
wow. World's crazy.
Yeah.
And then there's one other game that was on my list as coming out on February 24th, Kerbal Space Program 2. And it turns out it did not. I had misread a release calendar. That was actually when it was reaching early access. It's still supposed to come out sometime in 2023, so that may or may not happen. But also, it has not been well received so far. Apparently, it's missing a lot of the features that the original game has, and that's not a great place to be in for a sequel. So either it's going to come out and possibly be my lowest scoring game, or it's not going to come out and definitely be my lowest scoring game. But either way, not a great showing for me. And then the one other game that has come out since we last recorded was Wolong Fallen Dynasty, which
Yeah, that was one of mine.
Yeah.
I think it's at an 81 right now. I haven't played the full game. I did play the demo. I spent a fair amount of time with the demo, actually. I think 81 is... Maybe I'm speaking a little too soon just because I only played the demo. I don't think 81 is way off. I think I definitely had some complaints with the demo. 81 might still be just a little low, but I don't feel like it's as off as I do with Kirby. Wolong, and like Dom said, I'll get more into it when we get into the things we've been playing. But
Yeah.
it's solid. Like it's fun. It's not perfect, but
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And then just to recount the ratings, the standings where we are right now, Dom's got an average score of 76.75. He's had 4 of his 12 games come out so far. Angie is ahead of that with 80.5 average across these 2 games we just talked about, Kirby and Wolong. I'm in second place with an 84.5 between Dead Space and Season, A Letter to the Future. And Robert's in first, with an average of 87 between Hogwarts Legacy, Octopath, and Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line, which for some reason got an 87. I still don't understand it. I'm not going to be over it.
Which one got 87 here?
Theater Rhythm.
Ah, yes.
Ah, yes. Yeah, Octopath Traveler 2, from what I've heard, is better in almost every way than the first one. At least from most reviewers I kind of listen to on Twitter or podcasts.
But not better than Theater Rhythm, right?
Apparently not. Yeah. It's funny. Somebody, again, on another podcast I listened to, said that that's a game they've been playing, the Theater Rhythm. And they love it. But they're big Final Fantasy fans.
Oh, okay.
So
I
yeah.
remember those 3DS games being super fun. Like
Yeah.
they were fun. The controls could be a little frustrating at times. Like they weren't. It felt like sometimes they weren't like perfectly precise, but really good rhythm gameplay. And so I think it's cool that it translated well to Switch.
Yeah, the touch with the stylus, just when it starts getting really fast,
Yeah.
it was really hard to do the harder difficulties. But overall, it was fun. I love rhythm games anyways. But
Great selection of music and all
Yeah.
that. So.
yeah, Zach's favorite too, I heard, that game.
Theater Rhythm?
Not true? Okay, sorry.
Piece of garbage. All right. Angie, you mentioned you'd been playing a little bit of the Wolong demo. Why don't you transition into what you've been playing more generally?
Sure. I guess starting with the Wolong demo, Zach, this was actually the first time I had even given the PS5 a shot. I hadn't played with it yet, so that was like my very first experience with the PS5. And I was able to just jump in super easily. It didn't require a learning curve with the new controller or anything. Wolong visually, I think, looks really good. It has this kind of cool look to it. It also made me a little nostalgic for games like something about it kind of reminded me of Soul Calibur 2. I think it was like some of the effects kind of reminded me of that. But anyway, I was watching Zach play the demo, And initially he didn't quite give up on it, but he played it for a little while, but didn't play it for very long. So then I thought, well, this would be a good opportunity for me to try it since I was interested in this game anyway.
I did kind of give up on it. I texted the group. I think I don't know about Wo Long, and I deleted the demo off of my PS5.
Oh yeah. Okay, I forgot that you deleted the demo. Yeah. So because I was trying to be charitable, I didn't want to say that you just gave up on it.
No, that's what happened.
Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off, Ange.
No, go ahead.
Before I forget this question, are there I guess the haptic feedback or anything on the PS5 controllers?
Not really for Wo Long. No. At least not in the demo.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I made my character, and I'm not really into character creators. I don't really find them super fun. I actually find them pretty tedious, and I'd rather just give me a character, and then I'll just play it as that character. But I was watching Zach make a character, and I was just laughing at some of the choices that he made and some of the features he had given his character. And so I was like, I think I can make someone who looks pretty cool. So he actually didn't end up looking very different from the stock character, which I thought was kind of funny. But
similar to the stock character, but more like an official with like a clean beard and mustache.
Yeah, he had the clean, the very close cut beard and mustache. He didn't have like the more kind of full kind of kung fu look, but very fun, but very frustrating. I haven't really played a lot of the Ninja Gaiden games, so I'm having to get used to that kind of play style.
Or the Neo games, right? You didn't play those either.
I didn't play those either. So I just got thrown into the deep end of the pool with this.
Dom, did you play Neo?
Probably for like 30 minutes and gave up. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely challenging, and especially if you're not familiar with the Ninja Gaiden games. It actually made me want to play the Ninja Gaiden games more, frankly. And I will probably download that for my Switch. But it was fun, but it was challenging, and I did get frustrated with it. I eventually kind of had to put it down. And then I felt kind of embarrassed because I was like, this is just the demo, and I'm getting my ass kicked. But
it is an unusually difficult tutorial boss in a demo. That doesn't normally happen like that.
Yeah, it's this really cool looking, like, giant, kind of traditional Chinese art inspired tiger. Really neat, but really challenging.
That tiger was a mini boss optional enemy.
Oh.
That wasn't even the boss, baby.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
That's sad.
There's a high level, right? Like you're like morale level 4 and it's morale level 15, I think.
And then every time I was dying, its morale level kept increasing. It was at 17 at one point, but yeah. So I was playing that, and then I've been playing more Metroid, and really enjoying that a lot. Like I said, I played it on the GameCube, but it's been many years since I played it. And I played very little of it on the Wii with the trilogy. So,
are you farther in the Switch version than you were in the Wii version?
I think in the in the Wii version, yes. In the GameCube version, I think I got a little farther than I am now. I'm only at Magmore Caverns right now, but I have done a couple of bosses and done some exploration. I actually got lost at one point. It was kind of embarrassing, but I got back on track.
It's not that hard to get lost in Metroid Prime.
Yeah. I got myself back on track, and now I'm in Magmore Caverns. But I've been enjoying it a lot. That's what I had been mainly playing this week. But then Mario Kart Tour, which I take semi seriously, I think at this point. No, I take it seriously. It's just a little embarrassing, but the Doctor Tour is wrapping up, and I got White Shy Guy, and I'm glad I did, because this week's tournament, week 2 of the tournament, I have not been performing very well, and this would have been my last opportunity to get him. So I'm glad that I got him in last week's tournament. But yeah, that's basically what I've been playing.
Okay. And so I haven't been playing Metroid, of course, but Robert, I know you have. Dom, I don't know if you've been playing through Metroid Prime also.
Yeah.
But like both those games you've been focused on, certainly other folks at the table have been playing through too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How's Metroid Prime going for everyone else?
Go ahead, Rob.
Well, I beat it. I had over 80% completion, like 85 or 87 or something like that. It was really good. I reviewed it for Nintendo Joe. I gave it an A. Everything I said in the last podcast held through to the end. I think that the targeting reticle should be lowered if you're playing in classic mode. It's just a little too high up. I can't remember my other complaint. What was my other crybaby?
The thermal visor.
Oh, yeah. That's still annoying. Other than that, everything was great. However, At one point at the end, I was trying to remember where all the Chozo artifacts are. One thing I got a little confused about was I somehow didn't scan, I guess, all of the lore for the artifacts. Because if you go to the site where you're supposed to put the artifacts in place at the shrine or whatever above the impact crater, you scan and it tells you like a clue for each of them. I swear I don't have all of them, but regardless, I grabbed the player's guide, the Nintendo Power Player's Guide. So I have a large collection of Nintendo Power Player's Guides because they're amazing. And I confirmed looking at the screenshots in that game because I've been lazy. I haven't done like a side-by-side yet. But the screenshots of Samus in her armor in that player's guide, I was looking, I was like, aha. I was like, so I was right. She is a little bit wide compared to the original. Because the Wii version of Metroid Prime 1 and 2, they took the graphics and just stretched everything a little bit in order to make it so that would fit the 16:9 ratio of the widescreen televisions.
Interesting.
So it bugs me just a little tiny bit because like you can feel it when you're playing the game. Like that's just... Anyway, it's a very small thing that bugs me. But
if you ever want help setting up Dolphin so that you can play this game the right way,
no thank
with
you.
the correct aspect ratio,
No thank you.
no? Okay.
But yeah, so that was really good.
And Dom, you've been playing Metroid?
Yeah, so just a couple things. I really do like the new control style
Okay.
with the aiming with the stick. I think it just feels like Metroid, but with Halo controls, and I feel like that's just awesome.
Do you like it better than the classic?
I actually do, yeah. And this is because over these years, you know, when it came out for GameCube, it's kind of like all we knew. We weren't really into the first-person shooters, and I mean, we all probably played Call of Duty, but not like we do now, where we're doing the multiplayer and all that.
Yeah.
But over these years, I mean, think about everything that's come out: Doom, Halo, Call of Duties, and the control scheme. That's just like how first-person shooters should be played.
Yep.
So anyways, I played Metroid, and I was pleased that when you hit target or the Z target or whatever, you don't need to free aim. Like I remember on the Wii, even if you hit Z, right, it would go to that wherever you wanted to aim.
Yeah, it would
but
focus
you
on
would
them.
still have to aim it like a free aim thing.
Yep.
And I hated that.
Yeah.
Like I remember in GameCube, it was like a cheat code almost. You just hit the Z and it's just like do.
Yep.
And so I'm glad they kept that even with the updated control scheme. So I'm still feeling in control of like aiming my visor. But yeah, I'm loving the game. I haven't had too much time. I've only played it on my Switch, like in handheld mode. Because I'm just playing on the side of whatever they're watching on TV. But
Right.
yeah, but it's good. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Bringing back some good memories.
That actually brings up a good question, Robert. Have you been mainly playing it handheld or on the TV, or have you split your time?
I played very minimally handheld. I like the cloud saving for Switch. I had played it on my Switch Lite handheld for just an hour or two. Then I uploaded the save data, and then I played pretty much exclusively on the TV screen after that.
Okay. Yeah, I have played only on the TV screen.
It's really good handheld too, though. It's a testament to the Switch that a game like that works portable.
Yeah.
It looks so good in OLED, on the OLED.
Yeah, it looks really great on that screen.
Yeah, I've definitely found with the Steam Deck, like even running things on like lower resolutions, because that's all the Steam Deck is capable of. But because the screen is small enough, like it still looks super sharp, even if you're only running it like 720, 800p.
I read this article about, I was trying to buy this gaming monitor for Call of Duty, and it was comparing like 1440 to 4K. And they said the screen has to be like over 27 inches to even get the full 4K experience. Like if you have a 24-inch monitor and it's 1440, it won't make much of a difference if it's 4K or not. The 1440 is fine. So you save a bunch of money, by going the 1440 route.
Yep.
Why would I pay for all those pixels?
I mean, there's just not enough room. Yeah, exactly. It's just...
Well, it makes you kind of wonder when we'll start to top out with visual fidelity. Because I've heard people talk about, like, there's HD audio that you can get for, like, music and stuff. And, like, audio files are like, oh, yeah, it's really great. But I think people claim that, like, there's a certain level of audio where it's just, like, the human ear can't even really detect it. Like, you can keep going for, like, more and more whatever fidelity for the audio, and it doesn't even pick up in your ear. So, like, I wonder at what point it's like, no, this is 100K. And it's like, yeah, but your eye can only see up to 50.
One of the advantages that has come up with, like 4K monitors or whatever is that like even if the human eye can't tell the difference between like 4K and 8K or 1440 and 4K all that well, when you start upscaling lower resolution content, it's easier to do it more effectively when you have more granular control over how many pixels there are on the screen. So for like trying to upscale a Saturn game, for example, to a 1080p TV does not look as good as upscaling it to a 4K TV, just because you can get like a more honest pixel by pixel accuracy.
Yeah, that would make sense. So other than Metroid, Rob, what else have you been playing?
I've been playing actually a few things. I've been playing Persona 5 for the first time. Persona 5 is great. I have a friend, she was a game design major in college, and every time I mention Persona 5, she says the same thing. Aren't you loving the UI? Aren't you loving the UI? And I'm like, it actually, yes, it is a very pleasing UI. I mean, it's the integration of your little smartphone to chat with your party members, and then just the kind of, I don't know how to describe it very well, but it kind of makes me think of like a comic book. It's just very graphic, the way everything is set up in Persona 5. I think that the RPG, the battle mechanics are fun. They're pretty typical, RPG turn-based stuff, but you can have these what's the word I'm looking for? These optional conversations with the enemies that you're fighting. Because now I've never played Persona before. Other than the guy with the long, weird nose, the old guy that like gives you your contract, I don't think the stories are interconnected. So I guess the Persona games are all about how you have this persona in this like alternate world, and then like the look that you have, like Joker, that's like his persona that he has in that world. That's why he has the mask and everything. So the enemies you're fighting though are also personas. And so you can talk to them in battle. If you're able to weaken them, it has kind of a Pokemon-like setup where like certain skills are strong against certain enemy types. And so it'll bring them to the ground, and then you can surround them. And then you can have those, again, these optional conversations, and you can recruit them. But you have to like go through these conversation chains to do the recruiting. And if you say the wrong thing, they won't join you. So that's all. It's all really well done. Very interesting stuff. I find the story interesting. I'm actually not huge on the whole manga, anime, the high school setup, with the endless just stories about like high school kids and whatever. But in this particular game, I'm actually enjoying it. And I feel like the school is really presented as an authentic feeling place. Like it feels like an actual school. And then the little bit of recreation of Japan that you get to experience and go through is also really well done. It's just an amazing game. Like I can see now why it got so many accolades when it came out.
Do you like there's like a cat buddy, right?
Yeah, the cat, Morgana. Morgana's actually pretty good. That's another anime kind of trope that kind of will annoy me sometimes. And it's like, oh God, here we go.
The mascot character.
Yes, but I actually think Morgana is handled well. I don't find Morgana annoying at all. So really just well done. It's so good that I kind of want to start reading the manga that they've been publishing. I think it's just a recreation of the story. Of course, I wait too long and now I can't find volume 1 anywhere. And then Persona 3 and 4 are available on Game Pass. You can get it on Switch too, but on Game Pass it's kind of free. So I was like, all right, I just want to download them and just kind of see what these are about. Man, I had such a hard time transitioning into 4. Like I'm not actually playing 4. I just kind of fired it up and was like, I just want to see what it's like compared to 5. And the visual style is not catching me as strongly as 5 does. 5 just looks so good, even on the Switch. Like I'm actually kind of thinking, I can't wait to beat 5, maybe wait a year and then play it on like PS5 and just see it at like its best. But Persona 4, it was lauded as well when it came out, and now I'm looking at it, I'm just like, that just doesn't look as good as 5. Like, it's just not as interesting looking. And then 3, though, is completely different. It's like these static environments that you go into, almost like a point-and-click adventure. And I don't know what the battling is like. I haven't gotten to that point yet, but it was a PSP game that they've upscaled and made fancy for the HD screen. So anyway, Persona 5, that's the one I've definitely been playing.
You had, I think you'd mentioned you had not played any of the Megaten games, the Shin Megami Tensei.
No, not yet.
Back to Persona 5 before you get off that. That first mission, with the castle.
The castle, yeah.
the story is like surprisingly dark and twisted, like with the teacher. I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything, but that whole plot was just, I was playing through, I'm like, there's no way. Like, is this right? Like, am I comprehending this right? Like, this teacher is crazy.
Creeper teacher.
Super creeper. It's crazy. The story is really like mature content. So, and it's such like the art style, you wouldn't think it, but
your reaction to that reminds me of, I don't want to deviate too much, but my reaction to the story for Alice Madness Returns, when you get to the end and you reveal what really happened to Alice's family and the things that she actually remembers and all that, I was pretty shocked. I also don't think that I've experienced a darker content in another game.
It is meant to be shocking in Madness Returns, right?
Yes. I mean...
Is it like that in Persona? Or is it kind of like bad but kind of played for laughs? Or
it's not hard to totally explain. Played for laughs. It's in that weird realm of like it's serious and it's not. I don't know what you would call it, but like it's definitely dark. You're not supposed to like have sympathy for the character, but it's also a little over the top.
But in Madness Returns, I mean, it's presented in a way where this is like absolutely damning for the villain.
Yes. And while the villain is also a little slightly over the top in the way that he admits to and proudly admits to what he did. Like I saw one person online, at least, who might just be one person, who was kind of complaining about that and felt that it took some of the realism out. I disagree, and I don't think that the enemy was too over the top, but yeah, it was pretty shocking. But anyway, like I said, I don't want to deviate.
Okay, sorry to cut you off, Rob.
No, it's okay.
After Persona 5.
No.
So I'm also playing Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. I'm just about towards the end. I'm working on my review. I remember playing this on Wii and enjoying it, but I just think it's. I mean, I was telling Angie that I don't remember, or when I was looking at the screenshots of the deluxe version, and they're talking about how it's been remastered for Switch. It just didn't impress me very much when I was looking at the visuals. But then actually sitting and playing it, like putting the game in and going through it, I was like, wow, this is actually really beautiful. Like they did a good job of just upscaling this for Switch, particularly the kind of cell shaded look that they've given all of the characters. Like Kirby has this kind of thick outline around him. He just looks super cool. And I popped in Kirby Star Allies, which was the first platformer for Kirby on Switch. I don't think it was a launch title, but it was very close. And it was interesting because I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, I think the environments definitely look better. How could they not? It's made for Switch versus a Wii, but like Return to Dreamland is just a really beautiful game. And
they changed the art style relative to the Wii version, or is it just like higher res?
I have to double check. That's part of what I want to look into for my review. Is I don't remember the cell shading. I don't think that the character models had that on Return to Dreamland. The environments are pretty much the same. They're probably less jagged than they might have been on Wii. Although I think Wii gets a bad rap for like having bad graphics, quote unquote. Like there's a lot of really beautiful Wii games, like especially the first party Nintendo stuff. Mm-hmm. Kirby looked incredible. Donkey Kong Country Returns. So anyway, that's been a surprise. Like I've really been enjoying Return to Dreamland. It's probably one of the best platformer Kirby games. 2D. That's been really good.
Yeah,
good.
I got a second Robert's praise here. I had actually never played Return to Dreamland on the Wii, so Return to Dreamland Deluxe was my first experience with this game, and I wasn't sure what to expect. I mean, I've played Kirby games in the past, but I just wasn't sure what to expect from this one, especially coming off of Forgotten Land. It's really, really good. It's very fun. Like I got hooked pretty quickly, and I just haven't. I tried to buy it from our local GameStop just down the street, and they were like, oh, sorry, we didn't get any more than were pre-ordered. Unfortunately, Zach also experienced that with Wolong. So
it's more sensible with Wolong. Angie and I were talking about that because with Wolong, you're like, all right, maybe this is going to do well. Maybe it's not. Maybe the price is going to drop to $20 in 3 months. Maybe GameStop doesn't want to overextend themselves. But Kirby is a first-party Nintendo game that is an evergreen product. That will, like every week in this country, some kid with a Switch is having a birthday and is going to get a copy.
Although I will say this, not really to like defend GameStop, but having worked at a GameStop, they are restricted by what the publishers are willing to send them. So they will basically be like, all right, I'm going to make up a number. We have 100,000 units of Return to Dreamland Deluxe, and we're going to allocate 50,000, or let me do my math a little bit better here, 30,000 to Walmart, 30,000 to Best Buy, 30,000 to Target. But GameStop, you get 10 because of those retailers. You're the smallest outreach. So we'd rather focus on getting product to them versus you. So there's always going to be whatever GameStop is ordering. Like, it's going to impact that to an extent. But GameStop also is a little bit hampered because they get discriminated against by the publishers, where they're just like, oh, we'll sell more units in a Target than we're going to sell in your store. So we'll give you less.
In this case, though, in both Angie's case and mine, we were told, like, well, we only have what was pre-ordered. Or for Wolong, they told me, like, nobody pre-ordered it, so we didn't get any copies.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. Like, even if games, because, like, obviously Kirby's going to sell. Like, Wolong's the mystery one, but, like, Kirby is going to be evergreen. That's going to just keep selling copies in perpetuity.
But if the
Nintendo doesn't give them enough, they just don't get enough.
But if the pre-order amount is relevant to the answer, then it's not strictly about supply. It's a decision that GameStop is making.
Well, basically, it's like, whatever your pre-order numbers are, Nintendo is going to honor that. Like, they're going to say, oh, okay, so you got, again, I'll make up a number. You got 8,000, pre-orders for Kirby. Cool, we'll give you that much. But we're not going to give you hardly any more. We'll give you an extra 1,000 on top of that.
All right.
So that limitation's there, but...
Yeah, it's not a new problem. This was a problem when I was working at this same store too, was sometimes we would just get as many that were pre-ordered and we wouldn't get any extras. And that really sucks. And it sucked for the people who were coming in, who were in my position that I was in with Kirby, and saying, hey, can I get one? And the answer was, oh, no, sorry, we don't have anything extra. And so because I haven't made my way out to a bigger box store, I haven't been able to get Kirby yet. Just the demo.
Yeah,
but the demo was very fun.
From my perspective, the entire reason to go to a GameStop rather than just getting something on Amazon is the ability to get an impulse purchase and have it an hour after you decide to buy the game.
Yeah, I don't have to wait for shipping, potentially pay for shipping. I don't have to make sure that I get it on my doorstep before a porch pirate does. Like, I could just go get it, play it right now.
So if GameStop can't fulfill that, then
and it's
best of luck to them.
It sucks too, because it's nice, it's neat having a little GameStop right here near us, and you want to try and support them, and then you try, but GameStop ain't making it easy. So
I'll try to wrap up real quick. Beyond that, I've been playing the Klonoa Fantasy Reverie compilation on Switch. Can't remember if this came to anything else, but it's for the 25th anniversary of the series, so the Klonoa Fantasy Reverie series. So it gives you Klonoa Door to Phantomile, probably mispronouncing that, and Klonoa 2 Lunatea's Veil. So Door to Phantomile is a PS1 game, and then Lunatea is a PS2 game. But this version of Door to Phantomile was the remake that they put on Wii. And so it has, improved visuals. Now, I actually have played the PS1 game more than I've played the Wii one. And I was just a little frustrated playing this because Klonoa 2, his jump is much closer to the height that it is in the original game. And so it just feels better. And the remake of the Wii remake of the first game, they jacked up his height for his jump. I don't really know why they did that. So, like, you tap it and he just kind of skyrockets each time, and it just feels a little unnatural compared to how it's supposed to be. And I wish that they had taken the chance to redo that for this re-release, but it's still fun. I actually kind of think I like the way the PS2 game looks more than the Wii game, but they're both really cool looking platformers. But the conceit of Klonoa is it's a 2.5D game. So it's, I forget the name of the creator. He's the guy that made the NES Ninja Gaiden games. He basically played Mario 64 and was like, this sucks, it's too hard. And was like, 3D is cool, but like, why can't it be a 2D style of play in a 3D game world? And so that's what Klonoa is. You're only moving left to right, but the game world, you're actually kind of like walking around it. It's like these rounded corridors and paths. So you can tell it's a 3D environment, but you're only able to move in a 2-dimensional plane in it. And
like Pandemonium.
sure, I'm not familiar with Pandemonium, but Klonoa has this ring thing where he shoots it out and it grabs enemies. And once you have the enemy in his hands, you can jump, and then it gives you like a double jump. But it also allows you to send the enemy shooting down below you. So there's a lot of puzzles that involve hitting things beneath Klonoa and then also flinging them forward. Just these really clever platforming mechanics. Klonoa's never been super popular, but I feel like he is right up there in terms of quality with like the Crash games, Spyro. You know, if there was a hierarchy, he'd be below Crash, but very fun.
It looked pretty boring to me from what I saw you play of it, but if anyone out there likes 2D platformers, at least check out a YouTube video.
Klonoa's not boring. The second one's actually pretty hard. Like, I was going through this one section where you're on top of this like kind of like not quite steampunk, but just this urban cityscape that Klonoa's in, and you're getting chased by this giant ass robot that's setting everything on fire behind you, and he's trying to murder you. That whole section was like really demanding. I kept dying. And there was one of the little like secret bubbles that you have to pop that was at this really awkward point where you're like doing a really high jump. You had to like wait till you're like right before you hit the spring, initiate his flutter. He has kind of like a Yoshi like flutter where he stays in the air, and then you pop the bubble. Oh my God, I was getting so frustrated because I was like, I wasn't even really trying to collect everything in the stage, but when I saw that bubble, I was like, oh, I can get that one. And kept dying. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to die until I get this bubble. Like, I refused to give up. I finally got it. Anyway, so that's been fun. I also, on top of all that, just started playing Pac-Man World Repack. Never played the original Pac-Man World, but I like these types of platformers. And so I've been giving that one a shot. It's actually really fun. It's you know, it's no Mario 64, but it's just good, solid platforming with interesting mechanics. And I think they made it look pretty good on Switch, so I think that's everything I've been playing.
Pac-Man World, funny story. You guys remember Hollywood Video?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
My mom allowed me to rent that game every time we went, and that was my way of playing it. So I think I rented it probably at least 5 or 6 times.
Oh, really?
And I just remember loving that game as a kid, but never actually owning it.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw they announced it. I haven't bought the repack one yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a funny story.
That's funny. Well, what have you been playing, Dom?
Oh, right. So last time we recorded, I was on vacation from work, but now I'm not. I'm back working. I have a lot less time to game, but I did mention too that I sort of game with my little son, with my son.
Mm-hmm.
So together with him, we played Bowser's Fury.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time I beat it, or actually played it. Period.
Yeah,
it was pretty good. Average Mario game, no real complaints.
Okay.
A lot different. I mean, it's like almost an open world 3D Mario game.
Yeah.
You know, trying to collect these little suns.
Yeah.
But it was fun. And there's like a co-op mode where Bowser Jr. will help you unveil secrets. Mm-hmm. So I tried to let him do that, but he got distracted just watching me play. So. But it was pretty fun. And then I also beat Hogwarts Legacy. So those are 2 that I beat since we last recorded. Mm-hmm. Hogwarts Legacy was really good. I would probably give it an 8 out of 10. Mm-hmm. The final boss was kind of but the stories, side stories, it was really good, and the combat was fun.
Cool.
So currently playing Sonic Unleashed. He got me to play that. I downloaded it and started playing that. And
after the self-imposed break on Sonic.
Yeah. I swear, these 3D Sonic games, I think one of the criteria for them is to have horrible cameras. Like, no matter when the game released, what system, this camera sucks. But it's
you think
pretty...
Sega's got some, like, reverse Miyamoto who just walks around from dev team to dev team making sure they screw up the camera?
Seriously. No, that's not a lie. And then...
Well, it looks too good. You got to make it worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But again, the highlights are the regular Sonic parts. The lowlights is the camera and the werewolf parts.
Go figure.
But the werewolf parts are not as bad as, like, I think last time I talked about Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, Angie.
Yeah. Battle. Make sure it's the battle.
Like the tails and the Robotnik parts. Yeah. Those are horrible. Yeah. This is manageable. You know, I can deal with it. Yeah. And then I'm playing Metroid Prime, as I said earlier. And then I started playing Atomic Heart. I really like that. I was a big fan of BioShock, and so I heard this is kind of like a BioShock-ish game. So it was like I pre-ordered it. It is also on Game Pass. It's really fun. The story's interesting. I'm only about 3 hours in because Wolong released shortly after that, and that was one I was a little more excited for.
Yeah.
That's another one I had pre-ordered, and I heard you talking about the demo.
Yeah.
I'm about 10 hours in or so. This before I left to come here, I got to level about 34, I think.
Okay.
I'm in part 3 of the story. The story is pretty deep. There's a lot of like history, and Zach mentioned to us yesterday. It refers to the Three Kingdoms, era and story, which I'm not familiar with. I'm not into history too much. Other than that, it's interesting enough. I can follow the story well enough. There's a lot of characters to keep track of, which I couldn't name you more than 2 or 3, to be honest. But that's not the highlight for me. The highlight is the gameplay.
Yeah.
For one, the game is not sexy. Like the graphics are not great.
No, that's why I said it reminded me of Soul Calibur 2.
Yeah, seriously, it's borderline passable as a PS4 or Xbox One game.
Yeah,
it's right off the bat. As soon as you see your first cutscene, it's not great.
Yeah. But
the frames have not dropped on me once as far as gameplay. They drop in cutscenes every now and then.
Okay.
So it's super fluid in that regard. And then the actual gameplay is great. Like the pairing system, comparing it to like Sekiro or another Souls-like, is very forgiving. And that's more of a breezy experience. I'm not banging my head against the wall. The bosses are taking me between 3 and 4 tries.
Yeah.
As opposed to Sekiro, I'd have to turn the game off and try again tomorrow, and that's all to do with the parry system. It's much more forgiving. I'm sort of just breezing through it. I'm enjoying my time.
Yeah.
Like it's all I'm thinking about playing. Like I don't want to touch any other game until I finish it. So
I have a question for you about Atomic Heart because I haven't read any reviews for it yet, but I know that it's not really reviewing very well. What are the main complaints, and do you agree with them?
I haven't actually read any reviews. I just see the Metacritic, but I would probably give it around there, 77-ish. But I've only played about 3 hours.
Yeah.
Zach mentioned to me one of the complaints was the open world, something about an open world aspect of it.
Okay.
There's like kind of like surveillance robots that can call other enemies or repair enemies. So like if you get into a fight, it can kind of feel like, I just killed that guy and now it got repaired, so I got to fight him again. And you're just like kind of like being harried as you're trying to get where you need to go.
Yeah. I've experienced that a little bit. Yeah. There are these drones that are pretty freaking irritating.
Okay.
But I would probably give it a 77. The main character, the voice acting and the dialogue is kind of cringy at times. It's pretty corny.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys played Wolfenstein, but the main character there, like, I don't know. You'd have to play it to know what I'm talking about, but it's kind of corny. Like, I think I saw on Twitter he beat someone up the head, a robot in the head, and they fell. And he's like, "Yeah, take that, you gearhead." And like that's him speaking out loud. You know what I mean? And it's like those little things. That's what's taking it down for me a little bit.
Okay.
But the gameplay's fun. It feels kind of like a broke man's BioShock.
Yeah.
Because there's plasmids, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Like right now I've heavily used the electric one.
Yeah.
And it just makes me want to play more BioShock because they did it so well in BioShock. Like you have your left trigger as your plasmid, so you can electrocute them.
Yeah. And
your right trigger is the melee weapon or your gun. Mm-hmm. This one, it's like you can't have both going. You just hit Y to use your electric.
Yeah.
And then you do whatever you want. But it's pretty fluid. Everything's robots.
Okay.
So there's no real gore. I haven't really seen much.
Yeah.
I mean, I take that back. There's gore for sure, but you're not killing people. You're killing robots.
Okay.
So, But I'm liking it.
Okay.
I'm liking it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems interesting. I like BioShock. I never finished it. I played a good chunk of it, and I really enjoyed it. And I thought the lore and the lore of the world was really interesting. So the kind of Soviet setting, I also think I would like.
Yeah. So I was also telling Zach before the podcast, I don't know history like that. I couldn't refer back to certain things. But it's supposed to be this alternate history in the Soviet Union, and these robots are this doctor who was in charge of him, or the scientist who was in charge of him, like turned him on, the government and all that. And,
interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, gameplay's fun. But other than that, I think that's it. So yeah, Wolong.
Yeah.
I want to beat that bad.
The only thing when you're talking about voice acting, Woe Long, that was one of the things that I caught on to like at the very beginning. The voice acting is a little corny. So like the blind guy who you save at the beginning, you know, like
He's the reason I switched the that blindfolded guy. When he started talking, I'm like, oh my god, let me see what other language options there are. I hope there's like Chinese.
Yeah.
And there is. So I switched it to Chinese.
You
So
know,
now I'm just reading subtitles.
Yeah.
I might do that actually. That's kind of cool.
So somebody once on a podcast was talking about this.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, those English voiceovers suck. On a different game.
Yeah.
And he's like, here's the thing though. I switch it to the native language because they could be just as corny in their language, but we don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
We have no idea what dialect they're using, how they're saying a phrase.
I've told that to Zach about Japanese. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know.
You don't know.
Like in English, we know, like, God damn, that's cringy. Like, dude, just shut up.
Yeah.
Yes,
But,
like,
yeah.
I don't know what it is with voice acting. I mean, it's like anime. Like, I have a bunch of friends who love watching anime, and I'm like, if there's a manga version, I'm gonna do the manga. I can't, because so often I can't stand the dub, and it's just like these annoying, grating voices. But the thing
Fall
is,
into a lot of tropes too.
but also, like, in terms of just the dialogue itself, a lot of modern dialogue writing is incredibly obnoxious. Like, it's just, you know, not to be the old man, but like, it's clearly like just kind of Gen Z influenced, and just these things that they think are funny or witty. It's like, no, it's not funny or witty. You're just really annoying.
In the case of Wo Long, it's just the writing. At least what I saw anyway. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's the delivery. You know, like here's your. I swear, he's like this kind of goofball. Like here's your talisman to protect you. Thank you for saving me.
Dude, exactly. And then even before anything, when they're giving like the backstory, in the
Oh,
beginning,
yeah.
when they're reading it,
Yeah.
the guy's like trying to sound all like in the Han Dynasty. This is like that sounds so forced.
There
so
was
like,
also this weird moment of. I don't know if he actually halted in his delivery. Where
Yeah,
like
I
you know
know
what I'm
you're
talking about? Where I was
I
like,
know
why did you pause so long?
I swear to God, Angie, I know exactly what
Yeah.
you're talking about. I was like, yeah, this is I
just
need
keep
to change
talking.
this.
Just keep talking. They will
So
they
all
will
of
break it
this-
up.
All of this worked for me.
No. I think what happened is he did do it all in one line.
Yeah.
But the editors at the end
Yeah.
like stopped him and didn't get the like little pause at
Yeah.
the end. Seriously.
Sometimes there's a problem with just like trying to fit like the lips of like the Japanese original that makes things awkward.
Oh yeah.
Final Fantasy X definitely has that problem, for example.
Advent Children.
Advent Children definitely has that problem. But I was going to say, like, for me, like, Wolong totally worked. I was talking to Dom about this because for me, like, Wolong is based off the Three Kingdoms period of Chinese history, which is the basis for a book called Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which is one of like the four classics of Chinese literature and is popular in both China and Japan and has been the basis for probably at least 50 video games at this point. Like, it's extremely prolific in how inspirational it's been for a lot of developers, especially Koei. And the Dynasty Warriors games are also all based on the Three Kingdoms period.
Doesn't somebody have Romancing of the Three Kingdoms, the games in Square, the RPG series?
Romance of the Three Kingdoms is a different Koei series that's like a like kingdom building strategy game.
But is it based on the
Yeah, based on the book of the same name.
Okay.
And that, I think they're up to like 12 or so entries in that series
Whoa.
at this point.
Oh yeah, that's been going forever.
Maybe more than that. I'm not sure. But like I was introduced to the Three Kingdoms period through Dynasty Warriors 3 for the PS2, which has really bad English voice acting. But I'm kind of nostalgic for it because I played Dynasty Warriors 3 and 4 back on the PS2. At some point in the series, they got better. Like somebody actually sat down with the voice actors and was like, okay, you guys are just making up the pronunciations for all these names. We're going to give you a little cheat sheet. So like, right. So as the name suggests, there are three kingdoms in the Three Kingdoms period. One of them, the Kingdom of Wei, has a ruler named Cao Cao, which is spelled in English conventionally C-A-O, C-A-O. Mm-hmm. In Dynasty Warriors 3 and 4, his name is pronounced Cow Cow. Like, no one stopped any of the voice actors involved to be like, listen, buddy.
Now, that kind of thing, I mean, that kind of thing might offend people too, but like, I think kind of to Zach's point, there is charm to the poor voice acting that you get sometimes, especially in older video games. I do kind of miss that to an extent. I mean, give credit where it's due. Stuff like The Last of Us is great. It's like you're there. It's like it's a movie. But also, like, there's things about video games that make video games unique. And, it's a little fun when you're playing a game and like Resident Evil 4, right? It's a little corny. But I love that game, and part of why you love it is because of the voice acting and some of the ridiculous ways that Leon says things, mispronounces Luis's name, Louis.
The death cry, Louis!
Like, I think, in a way, it speaks to the sort of, I don't know, fringe and counterculture doesn't quite work. Like, it's $1 billion industry, right? But it's just like, there's these standards that video games had for the longest time that were not at the level of like Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And there was this like, a lot of people who played games were like, outsider type of people. And you didn't really give a crap. And that included the people who were developing the games too. It was like these just kind of nerd dudes who get together and it's like, hey, we can start putting voice acting in. And then they're doing it in a way where it's like not quite at the level that other industries would have had it at. And I miss that, but
I sort of miss it. There's like in the mid 90s, there were some games that like Working Designs, for example, was bringing out some JRPGs in the West. And the voice acting is very much of the like, hey, you down the hall.
Can you talk? Get over here. Yeah. I also like, though, how games, because when people think of games, it's like that cinematic experience now. But games are also kind of a synthesis of like comics and novels where when you're just sitting and reading text, I find that pleasing. I mean, that's part of the reason I like manga versus anime as well, because I can take it at my own pace. So it's like the speed at which I can read it is the speed at which I can ingest it. Whereas if it's audio and I'm having to listen or watch scenes, it's coming at you as fast as it's meant to, like it's designed to come at you. And I prefer the freedom of being able to just kind of read it. And so for Persona 5, I guess I made this choice early because now I'm like blanking on like consciously doing it, but I think I turned all the voice acting off because as I've been playing, I've been like actually scrolling through all the dialogue, not hearing anybody speak. And I actually prefer it because it's like I can sit and I'm getting the story at my own pace, but also in your head, you start to develop your own kind of voice for a character. Back in the 90s, well, now they've been doing the cartoons for the longest time, but when they started doing a lot more of like the kind of comic book cartoons, people would talk and debate a lot about like the voices they were giving characters. And it's like, oh, I always thought Peter would sound this way, like in the Spider-Man cartoon. Mm-hmm. And you don't think about it until you start hearing that interpretation of the voice where you're like, yeah, in my head, I've never really consciously thought about it, but I have a voice for that character that I think of. And then when somebody else comes along with the interpretation, it's a little bit different. And that has an impact. So I think that's interesting. And then one last thing, I always think of the alleged quote to Harrison Ford when he was working on Star Wars. And they'd get dialogue from George Lucas. And I think he allegedly looked at Lucas and just said, George, you can write this shit, but people can't actually say it. Like, nobody actually talks this way. And that is one of the things that's fascinating about writing is, like, if you actually sit and read some of the dialogue in a novel, you're like, people don't always really kind of talk like this. It works within a novel. But then if you think of how this conversation would play out in, like, real life, it wouldn't sound this way. Mm-hmm. And some writers, when they're like, depending on the medium that they're writing for, don't do a good job of like translating that dialogue into something that could be spoken out loud.
Surely you don't mean to suggest that the dialogue from the Star Wars prequels would work in a book.
I don't think it would work anywhere. It didn't even work.
Like, it's only
movies.
because I'm so in love with you. It's like, well, it worked on the page. No, it did not.
Yeah, no.
I always laugh at there's a podcaster YouTube guy that I watch, and he was making fun of episode 2, and he was saying, look, I know it's not really a good movie. He's like, but if you take out every scene with Padme and Anakin, it's okay. And it's just like, oh, you take out this whole chunk of the movie. That's actually really funny to think about.
Before we move on, I did want to say that you talking about how the lesser quality of voice acting and recording and writing from older games, especially like the GameCube PS2 era, you had put in, or you had fired up Sonic Adventure 2 the other day. Mm-hmm. And remember we were laughing because Eggman, we get to one of the Eggman scenes. And he's talking, you can barely hear him because the mixing is just like really bad, and you can barely hear him at all. And so that kind of thing is charming, and even though it's bad, I do kind of miss it.
When I was playing Wolong, actually, you know what? This might be a spoiler. I'm not going to say it.
Oh.
Yeah, but
You don't have to hold back on my account. I've read the whole.
okay. Well, I know I know you have it coming in the mail, but when you reference Zhao Zhao,
Yeah.
when I saw his name for the first time, I'm like, is it Xiao Chao? Xiao Cao? But I'm listening to it in Chinese, so I'm like, I don't know like when they're actually saying his name or not.
Yeah.
These all sound like names.
So I mean, like I said, I don't know. I couldn't tell you any names from this series yet, like because it's just they all are very similar. Like
It was actually
Zhang Liang, and then there's Zhang Zhao, and then
Yep.
Hong Ling. And, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep track.
Yeah.
There's going back to what we've been talking about voice acting. Like, those earlier Dynasty Warriors games on the PS2 have this like really naive pronunciation of Chinese names that I find really charming. The later Dynasty Warriors games, like by the time you get to like Dynasty Warriors 8, somebody did sit down those voice actors like, listen, buddy, you can't do that. But at the same time,
It's like borderline disrespectful.
Yeah.
those games are also like the writing is more anime in the later ones, where at some point they clearly sat down and was like, all right, we have 40 playable characters in this game. Everyone needs a single defining feature, and every line of dialogue they have is going to hammer in that one thing. Every line Ma Chao has is about him fighting for justice. Every line that Liu Bei has is going to be about, what is it? It's something stupid. It's like equanimity or I don't know. But like
Somebody flipped the dictionary. That one.
Yeah.
That
The word.
Yeah.
but like the characterizations get more anime as the like pronunciation quality goes up.
Yeah.
So this is
So it's an inverse of quality, like the it's like this one part goes up and the other part's going down.
yeah. So I'm very happy with the voice acting in Wolong so far.
Hey, to each their own,
Yeah.
sir.
I laughed.
I couldn't do it.
But speaking to just the kind of the general problem of this, like in all of our media, right? I mean, like I see a lot of people complain about like Star Trek Discovery on Paramount Plus. Oh, I wish I could remember the line. It made me laugh. It was something really embarrassing, like "That's the power of science" or "That's the power of math." It's like, oh my god, like this actually got in the show. Like no wonder some people call the acronym STD. No, thank you.
So before we forget or leave Zach out, what have you been playing, Zach?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because I feel
Sorry,
like
Zach.
we all went on a tangent.
Yeah.
Me
You know,
included.
this, that, and the other thing.
Sorry, Zach.
No, so I have been playing Wolong, but specifically the demo for Wolong, because I originally played the demo and said like, F this, I'm out. Because the first tutorial boss, not the tiger, but the guy with the big spiky club. Oh, no. It wasn't clicking for me, and I was getting more and more frustrated, and just eventually.
I'm so surprised at that, Zach. Just because, I mean, you beat Sekiro.
Yeah.
And you beat every Souls game. And to me, this one is the most forgiving. Like, it just surprises me when you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It just wasn't clicking. So
Yeah.
I deleted the demo.
Yeah.
And then Angie mentioned she wanted to play it, so I was like, all right, I'll re-download the demo. And then I took several days off and waited for it to actually come out and figured, you know what? There's some YouTubers, they're going to put together guides of like top 8 things you messed up on when you were playing Wolong. So it's like, fine, I'll go to like Fighting Cowboy or whatever and see what he said about the game. And then went back in, beat the tutorial stage, and have just kept going with the demo. I did try to buy the game outright yesterday. Failed to do that at GameStop, so it should be arriving from Amazon at some point this afternoon. But I've just really been going hard on the demo to the point that I've done pretty much everything you can do in the demo. It turns out the max level you can get to is 20. It turns out Zhang Liang, if you beat him without using the Divine Beast, you can get his gear as like random drops. So I build, and they have a set bonus. So if you wear like every piece of his gear, like the club and the 4 pieces of armor, you get some kind of set bonus. I don't remember what it was. And it also turns out if you get the oath level of Zhao Yun up to 10 in the second stage, you get Zhao Yun's armor also.
You said Oath level 10?
Yeah, oath level 10.
I think the highest I have is 3 for somebody, and I'm like 10 hours in. How many times do you have to play level 2 to get oath level 10?
You know, if you really rinse the stage and do like you kill everybody and get all the flags, it's
pretty quick.
You get not quite a full oath level per run, but it's close.
I see. Yeah. My highest oath level is with the chick Hong Ling, I think her name is. Mm-hmm. Because a little bit later, they give you recommended levels like to do certain parts of the story. Mm-hmm. And so I had to grind like 2 levels. And so I went back to there's like sub missions you can like rinse and repeat. Mm-hmm. And the little ape, the big ape thing, what's his name? Zunyan or something like that?
Yeah.
You can just basically do that boss and you get like 7,000 key.
Okay.
Each run, and she's your partner. So she's like level 3 or 4, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know like how exactly like the drop mechanics work, because I felt like when I was running the first level over and over to try and get Zhang Liang's armor pieces, it seemed like when I took longer on the stage and killed all the enemies, I got a better drop rate against the boss versus when I was just like running from flag to flag and making it straight to him. So I don't know like what the mechanics are exactly.
I'm sorry if my stomach grumble interrupted you or was caught on mic. Sorry.
Well,
at least it's not ice clinking.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're going to be able to edit that out.
yeah.
So are you looking forward to playing the full game?
Yeah, I am.
Is it the Three Kingdoms layer of it that has really changed your whole view of the game, or something else?
So that was part of what made me give it a second chance, to be honest. I look at like Angie playing like Hyrule Warriors or Age of Calamity. I'm like, I don't understand why somebody would play a Dynasty Warriors game that doesn't have the Dynasty Warriors in it. Like, that's the good part.
No, that's funny you mentioned, like, I never played the Dynasty Warrior games, okay? But I know that Hyrule Warriors was basically like based on the same style or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So when I'm playing this game, it reminds me of that in a way, because you're kind of going through the course and like popping up these flags and then you get to a boss.
Yeah.
Kind of reminded me of that. And I'm like, okay, well, it's all coming full circle, the Dynasty Warrior aspect of it. But there definitely is some of that in here. You know, it's a Souls-like Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah.
And then I feel like Geralt with my signs a little bit too.
Yep.
You know, it's kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah. Pulling a lot of things from a lot of series.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to spending more time with that. Even though I only really have put a day into the demo. I realize it's a long time to put into a demo. No, I've really enjoyed that. I have played a little bit of Like a Dragon Ishin on my Steam Deck, and it runs perfectly well on the Steam Deck for what it's worth. But it just hasn't. I feel like it's a slower start than most of the Yakuza games. A lot of like talking exposition stuff without as many good hooks. And I don't think it's just because it's like he looks like Kiryu, but he's a new character, essentially. But like Yakuza 4 starts with Akiyama, who's a new character. And Yakuza Like a Dragon starts with Ichiban, who's a new character. And I think both of those were much better at like getting me invested in those characters like right out the gate. So maybe it's just a slow burn. I've gotten up to chapter 3. I haven't been as enthused to play it. I've spent more time finishing up Ghost of Tsushima, and then now playing the Wo Long demo. So yeah, the other thing I've been playing is finishing up that Ghost of Tsushima replay. First thing I played on PS5. It's really good. Finished it at this point. I feel like it's really easy to compare it to an Assassin's Creed game. It does kind of feel like it's a better version of a modern Assassin's Creed game.
That's fair.
Like kind of a historical setup to some degree, some liberties taken. You have a mix of stealth and melee combat. Using some tools to kill people. In some cases, they even added like one of the last suits of armor you get in Ghost of Tsushima is a Mongol outfit, and so you even have it has like a social stealth feature where enemies can't tell that you're an enemy right away, which is like straight out of Assassin's Creed social stealth.
While we're on Ghosts, real quick, one thing during my playthrough is I remember in the beginning it was story-wise it was like, you know, honor for honor, you have to face your opponent, right? Stealth is like the coward's way out.
Yeah.
It's the standoff thing, the samurai way or whatever.
Yeah.
And it kind of forces you to do stealth, I feel. And even after they introduced the stealth part, it's probably like 10 hours in or maybe less, but they introduced the stealth takedowns and stuff like that. and it kind of lets you choose, and it's like, well, this is a different situation now, right? You know,
Right.
now you can do it.
Yeah.
But, you know, the buildup was like this honor for the samurai. I stood off every time. I tried so hard not to go the stealth route because I wanted to, I don't know, it was a weird aspect of the game.
Yeah.
But there are parts where it forces you to do stealth. So it really isn't up to you because there's no way you could do some of those battles.
With all the guys
Yeah, like the forts
that would
and all
be
that.
coming at you at once if you didn't do
There's
stealth.
no way.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that kind of made me upset with the game. But that's like really minor.
You definitely can YOLO all those forts. It's just, it's hard. It's very hard. I guess as far as the story is concerned, it really only needs you to do the yak milk poisoning segment part of the story in order. Because like the whole crux of the story is like the breaking of the bonds between you and your uncle. Mm-hmm. It's because you go and like poison the yak milk that the Mongols are drinking. I do think I like the combat in Ghost of Tsushima a lot, and I think it does a good job of like letting the player flow between stealth takedowns, using tools like the kunai or the different bombs or whatever, going into melee combat, and then flowing back into stealth after killing a couple guys. Like that whole thing I think works really well going back and forth. My only criticism of it really is that like as Jin gets more powerful as you play, there are parts of the game where, especially towards like the back half of the second act, where I felt like the combat capabilities of the enemies were not remotely keeping up with Jin's power. So it gets kind of boring in the second half of the second act. And
He
then
feels too OP.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
That's the opposite of Hogwarts Legacy. I was going to mention that when I talked about it, but I forgot.
Yeah.
Like enemy scaling.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what level you are. Like the final boss or bosses are always going to be like a set amount above you.
Oh, okay.
And that's how I felt like.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like that.
Yeah.
But then it like reduces my want to do every side quest and like
Right.
gain XP that way.
Yeah.
But it's like the opposite of what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't feel like he was too overpowered at the end. Especially too because maybe it's because you spend so long not underpowered, but definitely feeling challenged. So
Yeah, and it doesn't become like a total pushover, but as I start upgrading like the ghost weapons and you get really good at doing like a standoff, you just like, once you get the Sakaya armor and upgrade that, you can kill 5 enemies outright at the start of every fight.
yeah.
Oh
yeah, that's true. Yeah. If you do the standoff, if you get every single standoff correct.
Yeah.
If you do it well, I mean.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
Yeah.
So I end up like not using the Sakaya armor in this playthrough because it just it's too OP.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was trying to like, I think I was talking to Angie about this, and I know I was talking to my friend Justin about it too, like trying to figure out how to describe what I like about Ghost of Tsushima, because in some ways it really does, like it is just kind of a regular open world game, like a Western open world action RPG kind of game. It's just nicer.
Well, part of it's the setting, right? I mean, like you can't ignore just how beautiful the game is and the kind of authentic feel that the developers put into just recreating the time period.
And the fact that samurai are just really cool. Like the samurai and ninja are really cool. It's like, that's just how it is, right?
I remember going into different areas and it's like it's super yellow with the leaves.
Yeah.
That's one of the temples.
Yeah.
And you go out, it's like pink and all these colors.
It's incredible.
The landscapes are so nice.
Very beautiful.
But for me, I feel like lots of things are cool, right? Like I didn't really like Horizon Zero Dawn, but the idea that you're hunting robot dinosaurs with a bow and arrow, like that's candy to me. I love that concept so much. So it was frustrating for me that I didn't like that game more than I did. But yeah, there is something that's just like really appealing about samurai and ninja.
Yeah.
Real quick before we move into the main chunk, I'm pretty sure in the podcast I've mentioned Retro Gamer, the British gaming magazine I like. They, like the title says, it's retro gaming, so it's primarily old stuff. Maybe I'll try to highlight from now on if a new magazine has come out when we do a podcast, because the new issue for this month came out. So Retro Gamer, it's they refer to it as Load number 242, and they're getting number 250 coming soon. But
did you get an Amiga magazine?
It's the issue 252, and the cover star for this month is the Amiga. So because they're British, there's a lot of Amiga coverage.
Yeah,
for
probably
these
a lot
guys.
of ZX Spectrum stuff.
Oh yeah,
too.
a lot of ZX Spectrum. It's funny because like I feel like it's almost unreasonably often that the cover will be like, ZX Spectrum blowout, and I'm just like, didn't we do that like 5 months ago? And that the Amiga, I'm just like, maybe it was a different Amiga. I don't know, but the Amiga is this month. But there's also a chunk dedicated to the Atari Lynx, which was Atari's attempt at doing a Game Boy. And there's actually a few good games that came out for that are kind of worth checking out. They also talk about the Evercade EXP. So if you own an Evercade already, it's made by a British company called Blaze, and it's just a retro handheld that's kind of like a Switch. You can technically hook it up to your TV and play on the TV too.
It does kind of have British gamer stink, so that kind of makes sense.
It's actually a very well-made system, and they've been putting out all these. They're just compilations of retro games. A lot of it skews, again, more towards some of the Euro stuff, but they have some collections of Atari games and a few other platforms that are really good. I believe there's like a number of Capcom games that are just built into the hardware for the EXP. I think it's like Mega Man X and a few other things. But it's a slimline version of that handheld that came out not too long ago. You can get them on Amazon. They're not in stores. But anyway, that's this month's issue. And then there's a special that is out, and it's the Ultimate Platformer Handbook. So Retro Gamer likes to take, think Archie, like the Archie digest that you see in the grocery store, where they're just like, oh, we've been publishing this comic for 80 years. We can just take random issues or stories from Archie and put them together into these little compilations.
So I'm not familiar with the Archie digest. Can you describe it in more detail?
Didn't I just do that?
No, more detail.
No, does need to be more detail. People might not know what that is. It's 2023. You know how these young people are. They're staring, what's this Archie thing?
Google it.
So Retro Gamer, what they do is they take some of their articles that they've done over the years and put them into these neat little, they call them bookazines. And so it's 132 pages, and it's like Crash and Donkey Kong and Mario and Banjo-Kazooie and all this other great stuff. So I think of these as like little mini history lessons. Every time I get this magazine, you just learn all this cool stuff about the making of the game. So those are both in stores right now. You can find Retro Gamer really easily at like Barnes & Noble. You can also get it online. So
Cool. Those are awesome. I got to look through that before I leave.
All right. Well, moving on to today's topic.
Yeah. Main topic of discussion is going to be around game subscription services, such as, but not limited to, Xbox Game Pass. You don't like Xbox Game Pass?
it's all right.
Oh, it's all right. Don't you subscribe to Xbox Game Pass?
Yes.
What was that boo for? If that was coming from Angie, I would understand.
It's the dark and depressing future they're trying to force on all of us.
Okay.
You'll own nothing and you'll like it.
So, did anyone here have any kind of subscription service before Game Pass?
Yes.
What was that?
Netflix.
All right, that was my fault for not.
Okay. You mean
Sharpening that
gaming?
question,
Gaming subscription services?
Yeah.
Well, if you consider Xbox Live or PSN as subscription services,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
definitely.
they are subscriptions. Yeah.
Definitely.
And those are like for being able to play online, being able to play multiplayer.
Yep. They're also offered free game downloads every month.
Oh, that's right.
Xbox Live Gold had 2 games per month. PSN 4 games per month.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Xbox was 4 as well. 2 Xbox 360 titles and 2 Xbox One titles.
And were those? I feel like for PlayStation, I might have this wrong. I think for PlayStation, like you could claim them, but you could only actually play them while you were subscribed.
That's the same with Xbox.
Same
Live
with
too.
Xbox.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, so I remember that too. So with PlayStation, it was you could claim them, but once you were unsubscribed, then you can't play them anymore. I don't believe that's the case anymore, though. I think because Xbox didn't do that. Xbox was like, hey, you claim it, it's yours. And even if you unsubscribe, you can still have it. And then PlayStation played catch up with that. And we're just like, oh, well, if they're doing it, we should do it too.
Dom, is that correct about Xbox?
I would, just off the top of my head, I would have to disagree. I think if you download it on your Xbox, and let's say the next month you were just completely unsubscribed, right? If you tried to play that game, it would tell you you don't own it. If you want to play it, resubscribe to Xbox Live or purchase the game. Once you resubscribed, you could then play the game because you had previously downloaded it in that month that it was available.
I thought Games with Gold let you just keep them forever.
We might have to fact check that one. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I think it was the opposite. But hey, you could be, because I didn't really use it much to really speak on it. But I thought it was the same as PSN.
So I looked into PlayStation Plus earlier today, actually. Mm-hmm. And for PlayStation Plus, it is still the case that you can redeem it now.
Oh, I'm just making shit up left and right.
Yeah, that's okay. That's kind of what you're here for.
Anyway.
Well, that's coming from someone who doesn't, go the subscription route. So most of these games you probably own outright. So you might own it. And
this console generation, I got back into having the subscriptions. With Xbox 360, I had my live account, and I had that for years. But then when the Xbox One came along, I didn't really have anyone to play games with online. So I just stopped doing Xbox Live. And then same with PlayStation 4. Just no one to really play with, so I didn't have my PSN account active for a long time. But with PS5 and Series, both of them have been reactivated. And so now I've been doing the whole monthly thing. And like with PlayStation, I like how you can claim the game and it just goes into your library, but you don't have to download it because I don't have a lot of... I haven't gotten a hard drive or anything, so I'm just like, all right, I'm going to claim it. And then if I want to play it later, then I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'm such a little loner. I have never paid for either Xbox Live or whatever the PlayStation equivalent is.
He's going the Cheez-It trial route for years now.
The Cheez-It trial?
Oh, you've never paid for it.
Yeah, because he gets the trials.
What? No, what are you talking about?
For Xbox Live. I thought you would get like the code and then you'd get like, a certain amount of time.
No.
What?
I've never had Xbox Live Gold.
Oh, no, it was PlayStation though you were doing it.
I've never had online for PlayStation either.
What were you doing? Remember when we kept buying boxes of like Cheez-Its?
That was probably Game Pass.
Yeah,
right?
that was Game Pass.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
After
what it was
Game
for.
Pass came out.
I knew it was something.
Yeah, Game Pass, you can stack up. I mean, I haven't paid for Game Pass in like a year and a half because they have these quests on Game Pass where you play a game that's available on Game Pass.
Yeah.
You don't have to just play it from Game Pass, but as long as it's available there, you get like points, and these points equate to $1 each, and it can be like, do you want to just resubscribe every month to Game Pass automatically? I'm like, I might as well.
It reminds me. That reminds me of Nintendo Switch Online, where it's like if you play this game this month, you get X number of, I think it's silver or platinum coins. I think it's the platinum coins. And you can use those to get stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Well, why don't we, before we keep getting into the weeds of this, let's define a little bit what we're talking about here. So it's like, each of the three have these services. Essentially, I think all three now, the basis of it is, Nintendo, you have no choice. You're paying for the subscription service so that you can play online, but it's also giving you access to a catalog of games and DLC.
Yeah, there's some other services bundled in, like with Nintendo being able to play online and being able to do cloud saves, for example. But
PlayStation is all in one as well. I don't think you can just do PSN and then...
Well, now there's tiers with this PlayStation Plus stuff.
But even the Essentials tier does have like online gaming.
You need to have one PS Plus to do online.
PS Plus, which is online gaming, and then a limited selection of games. And then there's now the tiers so that you can get access. Like the top access is a whole catalog of PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4 games.
The PlayStation 4 ones you can download now, like Game Pass, where you download it to the system so it's not streamed.
Yeah.
But the PS3 and below, there are some PS2 games and PS1 you can download too.
Yeah.
But like the PS3 mainly,
all
it's streamed only.
It's incredibly annoying.
Okay.
The Vita games, I think, are that way too.
Yeah.
And then Xbox, that's the one where I think you can still be separate. You can just do Xbox Live and just have online access, and then you could do Game Pass separate, or you can just bundle it all, which is Game Pass Ultimate. And Game Pass is all of your a giant catalog of games that you can just sit and play. And it represents, I think, all the way back to the original Xbox. There's some regular Xbox games on there, 360, Xbox One, and
that's a good segue,
games.
I think, into what I'll talk about real quick. Is I've been an Xbox Live subscriber since I had a 360. And it was mainly for the online. I played NBA 2K with my buddies all the time, Call of Duty all the time. And it was like, I have to have this. And I think it was $9.99 a month. I think it's still $9.99 a month for the gold.
Yeah.
Then they announced Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate. And the way they did it was very well done in that it becomes a no-brainer for the consumer. Okay? $9.99 a month for Xbox Live for online only, right? And those free few games you get a month. Or $14.99 a month and you get access to this entire library of day one Xbox titles and everything. So basically, in a sense, I'm paying $5 for this access. And then it just becomes, am I not going to have Xbox Live, or am I going to have both? Like, there's no way I could be like, I'm just going to go Xbox Live Gold. There are people out there that do that, but $5 a month, and that's where I was at when it first got dropped. Yeah. So yeah, I'd subscribe to it. And,
maybe if like the only game you played was like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like that was like the one game you took online, but you were playing it all year or something. Like that would maybe make sense to just do Xbox Live. But it is like, especially for Xbox, because what makes Game Pass stand out compared to the other platforms is they do put like release day premium games on the service, right? Atomic Heart, Wolong, Hi-Fi Rush, all available on Game Pass the day they came out.
Yeah, that's a few like this month, February, like it just released. Yeah,
right.
It's interesting because I wonder now, obviously in the corporate world's mind, they dream of just you're only paying for subscriptions, and that's why on a certain level I don't like these services. However, they're not at that point yet, so just enjoying it for what it is now. Zach has talked about it like it's a good way to sample games. So, in my case, I have a huge collection, but I like to use Game Pass to just check stuff out. And it's like, hey, if I really like this, then I can go get the disc and then have it. And if I don't like it, I don't have to have it. For example, Forza Horizon 5, I believe, came out on Game Pass day one, and I was broke. but I have the system. And so I'd gotten the system, and the system came bundled with a certain amount of Game Pass. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I had to spend to get the system. I can't really get anything extra. And I was like, I don't know when I'm going to be able to get, games. And then I thought about it. I was like, oh, well, I got Game Pass. So I can get Halo, and I can get this and that. And so it's been really fun. I do kind of wonder how this is impacting publishers. So obviously, Microsoft is turning to a non-first party studio and saying, hey, put your games on here. We'll kick back some money to you. What's the kickback? It's like, is Xbox just giving a flat fee? Is it a flat fee plus we get more subscribers and then you get X amount of dollars for it? Because you just kind of wonder, let's say you're the people who made Wolong. Who developed Wolong, by the way?
Koei Tecmo.
Okay, so if you're Tecmo, you make Wolong and you're like, oh, Microsoft wants to put this on Game Pass. Okay. You sit back and you're Tecmo, do you go, if this wasn't on Game Pass and everyone just had to buy it, would we be making more money if we were just selling straight copies and not doing copies plus the subscriptions here? I kind of wonder because, Wolong, we were talking about it earlier, like who knows how many copies GameStop would actually go through in terms of selling. Is it going to be a hit? Is it going to not be a hit? I'm just curious about the economics of that. It's like, does that actually benefit you in the long run? Because Sony has been very hesitant to put any of its big games first party day one on even the highest tier of the PlayStation Plus service.
You might remember that Microsoft used to say that Game Pass did not cannibalize retail release sales at all.
I wonder if that's true, though.
They pulled back on that statement.
Yeah,
there's no way that can totally be true. Because it's like, well, if I'm going to pay $15 a month, and this is a $60, like, let's say, I don't know. Now, I don't maybe I should have researched this before, but I don't know what the numbers are for Game Pass. Like, do they put out a premium game every month? Or is it...
It's not like clockwork.
Okay. Because I'm just kind of thinking, if like, let's say Wolong came out, they put that on the service. Let's say there's another $60 game, $70 game even, that came out that also goes on the service within a very close time period to each other. That's $120 to $140 that the consumer is not spending because they already spent $15 on Game Pass and they're just playing the game anyway.
The value is undeniable. Like, there's no argument against the value.
Absolutely.
But like the benefit seems to just go to Microsoft more, right? Versus the publisher.
Like you said, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes either, but for it to make sense enough for a publisher or a dev to want to do it, the dev, for example, has to do some forecasting and do some predictions and say, we think that the game is going to sell this much or this many copies. And so for Microsoft to be able to appeal to them and lure them in and say, hey, put it on Game Pass, they're going to have to offer the dev I think at least that much, in terms of their predictions, their sales predictions, in order for them to feel comfortable.
Gives them a floor.
Yeah,
Like, we're going to guarantee this much money.
Yeah,
You know
because
what I mean?
because
variability
otherwise,
there. That's got to be good.
yeah, otherwise the dev's gonna be like, why would I do that? I'm
I-
gonna lose too much.
I want to give two examples. The
Yeah.
first, I'll use Octopath Traveler, okay,
Yeah.
as a first. So, Square they're trying to get money. You know what I mean? And you use the first Octopath Traveler. What did it release on? Switch, right? Released on Switch. It was out for probably a year, maybe a year and a half or two. And then the release announcement, it's coming to Xbox Game Pass. Square went to Microsoft and was like, hey, this game's a couple years old. What are you going to offer us to put it on? I mean, no one's buying Octopath Traveler 2 years later for the Switch. You know what I mean? Like, so now they're going down that avenue, reaching out to Microsoft like, hey,
because how many JRPGs does Xbox have, right?
yeah, so it's good for both. Microsoft's getting a JRPG on their service. Square's getting some money for this old game.
Yep.
So, that's one layer. And then now with Octopath Traveler 2, Square, they're like, okay, we're going to put it on Switch and PS5. Year or two down the road, we're going to hit up Microsoft again like, hey, what's up? What are you going to pay now?
Exactly. And then
And
the additional layer is kind of to Robert's point, where it's like Game Pass is somewhat of a preview system for the person who prefers to own their media and like own a tangible game. And so they're like, hey, I really like this. I'm going to go out and actually buy it.
Yeah, exactly. And then the second thing I'll say is, I'll use a specific example, MLB The Show. MLB The Show was PS only forever.
Yep.
So starting in 21, I want to say.
Yeah, it was last year.
Last year?
20. So what was that 22?
Oh, 22, yeah, because 23 they just announced, and all the advertisements Xbox Game Pass, right? Sony game. So their MLB The Show is looking at it like, okay, this game is going to sell like crazy, right? $60 a pop. We're going to sell it like FIFA and like 2K.
Yep.
Mad.
But what if we what if we go on Game Pass and we offer it to all these people for free? Guess what they're going to use that $60 for now? These fantasy packs and microtransactions.
The microtransactions in that damn game.
In MLB The Show, it's called Diamond Dynasty. It's similar to Madden Ultimate Team and all that stuff, right? FIFA Ultimate Team.
It's a good name.
Yeah, it is a good
Diamond
name.
Dynasty.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I remember when I played MLB The Show on PlayStation 4 and stuff, I would spend like $100 on packs because I want the best team. Go online and have a great team.
Yep.
So now I have someone who's playing, I have Game Pass. I'll just play it, download it for free. I can spend the $60 I would have spent on microtransactions. Now I'm hooked. Now guess what? I'm going to spend another $20 next month. And so they see that bankroll, or that source of income too.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of layers. The microtransaction, I hate microtransactions, but people want them.
I have noticed,
yeah.
Game Pass will make me, right? But Game Pass will coax me into downloading a game where I know I'm going to want to play the DLC also. And now it's like, well, if I get the base game for free through Game Pass, sure, why not? I'll spend the money on the DLC. So I think there is kind of a greasing the wheels there.
We've talked about, we were just talking the other day about live service games in our group chat. And to Dom's point about the microtransaction, I resent it. And part of the reason why I resent it is because depending on the game, it's got me good. And for me, it's Mario Kart Tour and Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, but much more so Tour. And for stupid stuff that, again, I resent it because I'm just thinking you could just make this free unlockable content, a Shy Guy here or
Especially
whatever
color
character
variations,
there. Yes,
right?
Color variations,
freaking swatch,
or even just a suit. I mean, the whole thing is just frustrating. But because I'm hooked and I want that thing, I'm going to spend that money.
Angie, how much would you pay per month for a Mario Kart Tour subscription that just guaranteed you got all the variants?
What's the gold pass, isn't it?
Yeah, but Gold Pass now, it just gives you one gold pipe, a certain number of rubies. I think that's it.
But the pipe's gone now, I thought.
No, the pipes are still there, but they're utilized in different ways.
Okay.
So, yeah. But to answer your question, Zach, I guess maybe 20 a month?
20 a month.
God, that's
For what Robert described as just a color swatch.
No. What didn't you say?
Yeah, but that's what you'd be getting from it, right? Is
That's
making
it?
sure that
I thought you asked
no,
me.
if you
Just
get
all the content
all the
available.
content, but the things that you seem to be most excited about are just Shy Guy now in a different color.
Well, no. I mean, so there's a lot more. I mean, every month there's especially because I'm playing competitively.
Yeah.
There are the carts that get released, even characters that I don't necessarily care about, like fucking, Cat Rosalina. I do not care. But if I want to be competitive, I have to keep up with the players that are being released.
You do like being competitive, though.
It's true. And so because I want to stay competitive, if I'm not keeping up with the different characters, the different carts, the different gliders that are coming out, when you go to like the way the tournament works is say it's the Shy Guy Cup for that week, and then the next week it's the Pink Gold Peach Cup. The 3 tracks, the way it works with every track is in order to get the highest score, you have to use a selection, one of these selected drivers, one of these selected carts, one of these selected kites. If you don't have that, you're not going to score as high. You have to then use the tier 2 players, the tier 2 carts and tier 2 kites. And so oftentimes for the first week's tournament of the new tour, oftentimes one of the drivers in tier 1 is one of the drivers that you could have gotten from the previous tour. So that's how they kind of get you.
Yeah.
And so it's not necessarily that I want literally everyone. I don't really give a crap about like Penguin Toadette. But if I want to stay competitive, I might actually have to have Penguin Toadette.
So there's a not to overstate it, but there's kind of a pay to win element to it.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah. Okay.
I think so. We are obviously going on a little bit of a tangent from the subscription service like Game Pass and stuff, but to talk about live service a little bit, I think a big problem with this whole thing is there's a lot of people trying to be Fortnite, right? Epic is king right now in this space. I mean, it's just $1 billion blank. It's just a blank check. Like they can keep partnering with these different,
third parties. Yes.
Yeah, like Gears of War, Halo,
Reynaldo.
And they did the whole Dragon Ball.
One of the soccer players was in Fortnite.
Yeah, now they have the dude from Creed, Michael B. Jordan, and they had LeBron. They had Geralt from Witcher. I mean, they're tapping.
I like that you gestured at me when you said Geralt from Witcher.
They're tapping into everything, right?
Yeah.
And then you got this game like Suicide Squad, who's like, we're going to be live service. These people are going to want all these skins, and it's not going to work out.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like you don't have.
There's one Destiny. There's one Fortnite. That's it. Everyone else is.
And Epic. The resources Epic has to put into this, and Destiny has the spam base already. They're established. You look at Call of Duty right now; it's in a bad place because, I was really big into the first Warzone, and I would buy some skins because they were pretty cool. Yeah. Now they're getting more and more generic. They're not doing partnerships like Epic is for Fortnite.
No, it's like, why bother? Like, it's like when you're playing Call of Duty. Like, I've been playing Modern Warfare. It's just like, I blew someone away. I am not paying attention to what they look like at all. Like, it is meaningless. It's like
I think hopefully we're sort of hitting an end to this crap a little bit, and I think it's gonna show with like Suicide Squad. You see what happened to Avengers.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of another example, but I think going forward, the games that are in development now for the future, they're gonna be like, hell no. You see these projects, we're not Fortnite guys. We're gonna do a nice single player story. We're gonna have unlockables in-game content only, and just move on.
And also, it's like, if you want to do that shit, it goes to mobile. It's like, go do that on mobile. You're not gonna bring it here.
That's the thing, is mobile created this disease.
Yes.
Mobile shows up and is like, well, it's just, I mean, it's a little multifaceted, but it's sort of like, it's that value proposition for the consumer, right? And so for mobile developers, they were just like, well, how are we going to entice these people to play? Because now we're reaching out to this whole audience of people that never even traditionally played games. Then maybe they're hesitant to plunk down full price for a game, because software is software, right? I mean, it's like, we're going to make this game. It's going to be an experience on your phone, and maybe we charge you $30-$40 for it. They're like, well, people are going to be hesitant to do that. So how do we get them in? Well, the game is free, but it's full of microtransactions. And the mobile games that did this and did it well and got people on board, and they're spending all that money. Yes. All of a sudden, every media thing on the face of the earth took notice. Because they're all like, well, we can get these idiots to pay in perpetuity for that. Why can't we get them to pay for our entire catalog of movies that we have? And like Netflix also kind of showed this, where it was like, hey, you know, could this person just go buy a box set of this DVD series and watch it at home? Sure. But they're willing to give us however much Netflix costs, $10, $15 a month, just to access the catalog over and over and over again. But the problem is that, kind of to Dom's point, is that some people do it better. Some people have a better value proposition for what you're getting. And that's where they survive.
Sellers or consumers when you say some people do it better?
The seller. So it's like Fortnite is giving you all this awesome content, plus the game is fun. But then you come up with like the Suicide Squad thing.
Anthem was the other one I was trying to think of because I loved Anthem, but then they shut down. No more content. But yeah, keep going, Rob. Yeah. Sorry.
But Suicide Squad shows up. And it's just like, so all you're offering me is whichever Suicide Squad characters that you have here, plus, you can get this skin, that skin. It's like, these characters aren't even that popular. I mean, it's like, okay, maybe Harley Quinn, but it's like...
You want me to buy a battle pass for a season of this story game?
Yeah, it just
doesn't make sense.
This greed that has like consumed them. And it's like, I mean, it's like, look at the streaming services. Nobody wants Paramount Plus. Nobody wants Peacock. HBO Max seems to be doing okay-ish.
Excuse me, Peacock has episodes of Columbo.
Well, apparently ain't enough. And then Disney Plus, even that's starting to falter. And that's with all the Disney catalog. But you kind of like start to see where it's like, well, Netflix was giving us all this stuff at one point. You had a mix of all these different things. That's what made it appealing. Now you got every media company showing up saying, well, get our service and get our service because we got this and we got that. You just kind of get to the point where you're like, dude, I don't even care. I mean, it's like, I got my Netflix and I got maybe one other thing and then the rest of it is noise.
To me, Netflix is like the other side of this, and the reason this style of like rent extracting revenue stream capitalism works is that people are lazy about it. There's nothing stopping anyone from subscribing to Netflix for a month, catching up on whatever shows that have come out recently that they want to watch, then unsubscribing. That's how I use Game Pass, is I will just like wait like 8 months, subscribe for a month, play through a bunch of stuff that's built up in the platform, and then unsubscribe. But a lot of people, including some people at this table,
we have to watch Last of Us day one.
Day one, okay.
That's your point though. Like, it's got us on the hook for 9 weeks.
Yep.
Well, 9 weeks, right? So that's designed to to extract 3 months of subscription from you, right? Yeah. But people will subscribe just like in perpetuity and not watch anything on Netflix. Mm-hmm. It's just they want to know that they could, or they can't be bothered to go into the platform and manage the subscription. Mm-hmm. So it's like that inertia that they're taking advantage of.
Convenience. They're preying on the convenience.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I do think certain subscription services have different expectations. Like a gym is something that you're subscribed to, and you could not show up for days, weeks, months, and keep subscribing. But part of it is that it's dependent on you going. Whereas, like, if you look at something like a streaming platform, like for video content, right, like a Netflix, they feel this pressure to keep producing new content because it's like the viewer needs to keep like tuning in. But like even with that, it's something where I think a lot of people watch stuff out of habit. It's like, I mean, people are sitting watching Seinfeld now for going on 25 plus years. But like with the video game services, it's interesting because it's like, well, you feel a little more pressure to subscribe to them. I mean, if you're somebody who plays with other people, and there's so many who do. So it's like all 3 platforms. It's like you want to play Mario Kart with your buddies, you have to have Switch Online. If you want to play Call of Duty with your friends, you better have PlayStation Plus. Yeah. And, you just keep going with it. And
very quick aside. When Don, when you were talking about all the different like partnerships that Fortnite has had, and Robert, I think you accidentally said Reynaldo, but I know you meant Ronaldo. I thought you were talking about the rice pudding brand. And I thought that they had, because it didn't see, it's not outlandish.
Does it have a little gaucho on it?
It has the little guy with
like
the sombrero. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh, they put the Reynaldo's rice pudding guy in Fortnite.
If they put him or if they put the Tapatio guy in Fortnite, they would make millions.
I know.
I can guarantee you people would be like, oh, I gotta have him.
But it just shows you where my head is at and the things that I consume that I was like, oh, the Reynaldo's guy.
So,
sorry, go on.
So one thing I'll mention too is I think it's kind of generational too. Like this generation is like ADHD, like I mean, we can't, sit and just not do anything. It has to be, our minds have to be occupied. Not speaking for me, but like a lot of people.
Quite a lot.
Like your mind has to be occupied. Like it has to be this, it has to be that. It's like, when we were younger, gaming is like we were talking about last time. I got a game on my birthday and I game on Christmas.
Yep.
Right? If I got Wind Waker, I had Wind Waker without a memory card for like 3 months. And I would play just the same, you know what I mean? Like you would just play the game, you played what you have. Now it's like we're bombarded with Netflix and Game Pass, and I have a library of 1,000 things of media.
Yep.
Right? How much time in a day do I have? You know what I mean? It's they're kind of capitalizing on that.
Yes.
It's
I
like
kind of laughed too at like how how people will talk about like with a kid you'll spend a bunch of money on an expensive toy, but sometimes the kid ends up playing with the giant box more than the toy itself. I look at like these incredible game experiences that are out there, and again, like working at a GameStop, kids are coming in because they wanted Roblox money or V-Bucks for Fortnite. And it's like a lot of these kids probably have a bunch of other games they could be playing, and they're focused on like this crap.
yeah.
I mean being unfair. I've never played Roblox, and Fortnite is fun, but it's just like to me, it's like the equivalent of like you could be playing this or you could be playing that. It's like no, give me the box. Like the V-Bucks is the toy box of video games.
Robert, you don't have to pretend to like Fortnite. You're an older gentleman like me.
No, Fortnite is fun. I play it
Older
with my
gentleman.
friends. Thank you very much. Fortnite is actually pretty good. It's a unique experience. For those who don't know Fortnite, like our old friend
They have a
over
no
here.
build mode now. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's how we've been playing it. And it's interesting because it's like you are dropped into, it's a battle royale, and it's a giant map, and
Sorry,
it's
is
the
it
same
no
map.
build mode for casuals? You're like stripping
How
out
do
the
you know?
essence
You
of the
don't
game.
even play. Anyway,
Look at Zach. He keeps track of this shit.
Yeah,
You don't
look
need
at
to
it.
explain
Yeah.
it. He knows what a battle royale
he
is.
plays it. It's funny though. Well, I'll get to this in a second. But anyway,
You played PUBG before?
I certainly have not.
Oh, okay.
Well, you have the big map, and there's different regions on the map, and you can explore this whole giant area. But the catch is that there is this sphere of death that's encroaching around you, and as it continues to shrink, it's forcing these other squads of players. I think it's like squads of up to 4, where you're all trying to kill each other and be the last one standing.
You know, this kind of reminds me of a movie I once saw called Battle Royale.
I see.
Which, by the way, if you guys haven't seen it, is actually fantastic. Japanese, like, creepy thriller action movie called Battle Royale.
Is it like Squid Games, kind of?
I have not seen Squid Games.
Oh.
So it might be just like that. I don't know. But, and it keeps encroaching until the sphere of death is really small and you all blow each other away. Fortnite's actually really fun. And the shooting mechanics are all pretty good. You can swim, all this other stuff. A good visual style. However, I didn't really get Fortnite until I had a group of friends to play it with. But I mean understand. That was the first time I ever played a game and felt old. Like, I remember sitting, and I'm just like, I don't understand this. I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing right now? And then the menus were confusing me, and I just was like, maybe I'm too old for this.
It's going to happen over and over. I got some of this the first time I tried to play a Call of Duty game. But anyhow.
Yeah, like the Warzone menu in Call of Duty. It's like a freaking, like a Roku menu right now. Like, if you go... Seriously, if you load it up, I'll screenshot it to you later, Zach. It's like little blocks, and it's like campaign, multiplayer, Warzone, and then you click Warzone, it goes into this whole thing, and it's like the first thing that pops up is spend $25 on the skin, or you know what I mean. So
some of these, going back to our original premise, again, the services, these game services, some of them have much better UIs than others. Like, I think Switch Online's might be the best. Like, it's just Nintendo refers them as apps, right? So it's your SNES app, your Genesis app, whatever console that you're playing on. So it's separated by console. You download it directly to the system, and you just have that library there. Once you go into it, it's just square tiles of the box art. And you just scroll over it, and when you're ready to play it, you just hit A, and boom, you're in. There's no marketing. There's no digital panhandling. It's just, here's the games that you get for the service that you're paying for. And then on the opposite end of that, I feel like the worst of these is PlayStation Plus's UI for all of its setup. I mean, just the tiers themselves, I think, are confusing to consumers. I might pull it up in a minute what they are, but it's basically like the lowest tier is just online play, and then I think the monthly games.
I can explain. Like I mentioned, I did look into this stuff earlier. There are 3 tiers. The base was called Essentials, it does give you online play and gives you a small set of free games each month. That's $10 a month. Above that is Extra, which is $15 a month. And that one is like comparable to Game Pass. There's like a big selection of games. And then on top of that is Premium, $18 a month, which is the one that adds the PS3, PS2, PS1 games.
Yeah, so I just feel like all of that UI is a little bit confusing. I paid for the top tier. Like I had PlayStation Plus for like a year, and then I did the prorated, like the top one that Zach just said. And so I have access to all these, games and stuff, but it just feels so hard to just kind of go to what you want to see. It's like they just make it confusing. And then in the middle, and really it's middle but leaning closer to like the quality of Switch Online, is Game Pass. I feel like Game Pass is fairly straightforward. It's like they give you all these little tiles. If you can get this, you could get that. Look into this. Or it's just like, just show me the catalog. I think then you open the catalog and it's just every game is there and you just flip through all of them.
Yeah, I think Game Pass is definitely the most straightforward. Like the different tiering is just, do you want it on for console? Do you want it for PC? Or do you want it for both? And whichever one you pick, you just go and it's like all the games are listed there.
I wish the Xbox had more customization options, like for your library. Like there are tabs. So the first is all games, right? So as a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, you also have EA Play. And then obviously include that as Xbox Live Gold. And so when you're under the tab for all games, it is all your own games, all games available on Game Pass, all games available on EA Play. And I mean, it's, obviously you're not going to use that if you know which game you're looking for, right?
Right.
Then of course you can go to your own, and then you can go to specifically Game Pass. But I think when I'm referring to customization, when I pull up Game Pass or anything like that, it'll ask, do you want to download it? Do you want to stream it, cloud gaming? I wish there was a way you can just set it up to where my Xbox knows what I want to do. I am not trying to stream my games.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to either download or play it locally on my Xbox.
Yep.
Like that.
Yeah.
Part of it is I think it's a relentless reminder. It's intentional. Like they want you to be tempted. Stream it. Just stream it. And it's like, no, thank you. But they're not going to give up on it.
To split the difference between like TV streaming services like Netflix and game subscription services, who here is a Netflix subscriber?
I am.
You two are.
I have Netflix, yeah.
Who here has played a Netflix game?
No. How do you even play them?
Yeah, I don't know.
You have to play it on console?
No, you have to link a Bluetooth controller to your TV.
You have to have a smart TV?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or there's also like phone games, like iPhone or Android games that you can download from like the App Store. Is that what they call it on the iPhone? Or Google Play?
Jackbox? Remember we played Jackbox on the phone? Something like that?
But in order to actually play it, you need to have a Netflix subscription.
You have to log in, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like you can play Shredder's Revenge on mobile, but only if you're a Netflix subscriber, for example.
I didn't know that was tied to a Netflix subscription.
Yeah.
Is it touch controls or you do a Bluetooth to that too?
You can probably do either, but you need a Netflix subscription to log into it.
Interesting. Yeah, I've seen Netflix is expanding into gaming, and it's just like making no difference to me. Like I'm just like,
Yeah, I'm not
whatever.
interested at all.
The only thing on Netflix that was of interest to me is, do you guys know the game Downwell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next game from the Downwell developer Moppin is called Poinpy, and that is a phone game, but it can only be played by Netflix subscribers.
Oh, boo.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was gonna say, the only gaming subscription thing I have right now is Nintendo Switch Online, and I was disappointed that Nintendo went that route and locked online play behind a subscription. But the thing that's frustrating to me is that however many years into this we are now, they still have not really worked out a lot of the kinks for online play, and especially for games like Smash and Mario Kart. Still, I will still go and play Mario Kart online, and especially if you're talking about playing Japanese players, which happens to me a lot because I tend to play pretty late at night, and we're talking major lag, and like it's not like every single Japanese player is cheating. This is an issue of massive lag.
It's an infrastructure problem.
Yeah, like you're never going to catch up. They're always, like 10 car lengths ahead, and it makes not just playing a less enjoyable experience, but then I'm sitting here wondering, what am I paying you every month for, especially if this is what I'm primarily using Nintendo Switch Online for, is Mario Kart online play,
I wonder.
Smash online play, and I'm not even really getting my money's worth.
I wonder if part of this is like, did Smash, was that a Switch original or did that?
Smash is a Switch original.
Smash
it's
is a
built,
Switch.
I think, on the framework of Smash Wii U and 3DS, but it technically.
All right, that was Smash 4, and this is Smash Ultimate.
Yeah.
But Mario Kart is a holdover from the Wii U.
Yeah, that should have the kinks ironed out.
I wonder, like, how much of it is because, like, Japanese devs. I know this not from playing multiplayer games myself, obviously, but like from just kind of like orbiting around and being interested in fighting games as a genre, that American-made fighting games are much better in infrastructure. Like Mortal Kombat games, I got no interest in playing them, but they're like online is supposed to be much more rock solid, and it has been for more iterations of that franchise than Japanese franchises. There's been like a lot of dissatisfaction with Japanese fighting games over the years of the online infrastructure not being as good. You have laggier online play rather than rollback netcode. And I wonder if Nintendo has just been slower to adopt these things, and maybe whenever they do finally put together a successor for Mario Kart or Smash, it will have better netcode.
I think it's a hardware thing too, right?
That's entirely possible.
Yeah, I think part of it's hardware, part of it is complacency. Like Nintendo gets away with what it gets away with because fans let them get away with it. You know, I mean, I'm sure people grumble, but Nintendo will probably point and say, "You all play the shit out of this, so we don't care."
Plus-
like it's not like it's affecting our numbers.
Plus, Nintendo Switch Online is now tied to being able to access Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games and N64 games. So it's almost like the online play can be as shitty as it ever was or ever will be, because it's like, well, that's just part of it. You're still going to be subscribing to this because you want to play these games. So we really don't have much of an incentive to improve it because we're not separating the service. It's not like you can buy access to online games alone or just have access to the N64, Game Boy Advance games. It's all one.
That is the nice thing. Like, you know, I'm coming from this as like somebody who doesn't do much multiplayer and also is like a PC first person. So for me, it's like, why would you pay to go online? That should just be for free. But it is nice that Nintendo's offering is just $20 for a year, right? So like, you are going to judge it a little differently at that price point.
I think it's more though if you get the expansion pack, right? Is it 50 for the year if you get the expansion pack?
It is more if you get the expansion pack, but if all you want is the online play, you only have to pay $20 a year, right?
And then it's like the bonuses, those free games.
Yeah.
And then I think we also are kind of thinking from our own, at least Angie and I, like kind of insular. Those are the two things we play online. And in my case, I actually almost never play Mario Kart or Smash online. If I play those games, I'm playing with people in person. There's a lot of people playing Fortnite on Switch. There's all sorts of other little games like that.
I have a question. I've actually not asked you this, I think, ever. Is online play for Tetris 99 tied behind Nintendo Switch Online? Okay.
And
that plays fine.
That plays fine.
Totally fine.
Splatoon, I heard, is good too.
Splatoon is good online. That one I do play online. So, like, I don't know. It seems hit or miss based on the game. But with Nintendo, it's interesting because, you know, that whole catalog that's tethered to Switch Online, like, I kind of wonder if the temptation of the Nintendo service is maybe the greatest of the three. I guess it depends on your interest, but like the access to that back catalog of Nintendo games is incredibly enticing. And then you throw in like the Genesis catalog. I wonder how much Nintendo's shelling out for that. But I do kind of wonder like if Nintendo is going to slowly start to realize it's like, okay, we're charging $50 a month and now there's N64 games on here. So we're curating
50 a year.
Huh?
50 a year.
Yeah. So we're curating N64, SNES, NES, and then we're paying Sega to have this Genesis catalog, and now we've added Game Boy and Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color. So how big does it get? Like, let's
not
say
much bigger, and if it does get bigger, Genesis drops off.
Well, that's exactly what I was about to say. Is Genesis is the one that might get axed at some point. But like, let's say they had GameCube, you know, maybe down the road or something. Like, doesn't Nintendo get to a point where they have to step back and say, maybe we should start letting people start to just pay for some of these games, because now we're charging, you know,
Metroid Prime Remaster.
I mean, it's like, in seriousness, it's like, you know, we're charging $50 a year, But could we be making more if all these games were also just one-time purchases? Because if you just keep expanding the catalog, I mean, do you eventually start to take stuff away? Where you're like, play Mario World now, because in a few months we're going to put it away for a while, and that's going to piss people off. It's like, I'm not paying for you to take anything away. Like, I'm paying to access these games, and if you don't want to let me access them through your rental service, then let me give you $8 for it.
You will absolutely pay them to take it away. They're going to say, like, we're taking Mario World off the service for the next 30 days. You can pay this discounted rate of 20% off to just have it to keep.
I'm just saying, I think that there's money on the table that they're going to eventually be leaving there if they just keep expanding it and it's only through the rental service. It's just like, come on, like, start selling some of it.
I think they might just bank on more subscribers.
Yeah.
They're going to add a layer to it.
Yeah, if they're not making enough money through Switch Online subscriptions as compared to what they think they could get from a virtual console style setup, they'll just raise the price of Switch Online. That's it. They're not going to go back to virtual console.
This is why these streaming services are a double-edged sword, because they're good in the sense that they give you an opportunity to play these older games again that for whatever reason you might not be able to play. Either somebody sold their system, their game, the cartridge the battery no longer works, or the save feature no longer works, or a younger sibling ruined the disc years ago and you never replaced it. So you have the opportunity to play them again. And so long as the service provider offers them, you're playing them in perpetuity. But the other side of that is so long as they're still offering them. And if they take them away, they take them away. Mm-hmm. And so, this is why people like me and Robert, I can't speak for you, Dom, but we would much prefer tangible media, because it's like, there's still the risk of it getting damaged or no longer working in the future, but at least I have it and it's mine. And so long as it keeps working, I can continue playing it however long.
Yeah.
I have a weird perspective on that. I know we should wrap up. I have a weird perspective on that because I feel like for me, I've learned over my life that most games I only want to play once. And so like the value of owning a game versus renting it or buying it and then selling it, it's all kind of the same at the end of the day. Like, I'm only going to play Outriders the one time, So that's an example that doesn't matter. Something like Resident Evil 4 for Wii, I played that like 10 times. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to own Resident Evil 4 for the Wii, but I feel like for a lot of games, it doesn't matter that much. And that's, I think, where part of the value for a service like this is. There's a lot of games that I'm going to enjoy, but I'm only going to enjoy one time. And for those, really doesn't matter if I have it for keeps.
Yeah. I was going to say one more thing. Mm-hmm. Hopefully it's not too lengthy.
No.
So there's a podcast I listen to, and one of the things this host said that kind of struck a nerve is he was going to buy a game or whatever. I can't remember which one it was, but then he said it's also on Game Pass for you Game Pass people. And it's like, I could be subscribed to Game Pass, but I'll use the two that just came out, Wolong and Atomic Heart. I had both those games pre-ordered, because I had a hype level for them, right? I could have just used Game Pass to try them out, but I had pre-ordered them. I used Game Pass to try games out. Like, I didn't buy Forza Horizon 5. I just didn't want to purchase it at that time.
Yeah.
But there are uses of Game Pass, I think, that go beyond just going the cheap route or however people want to sort of.
Right.
So he basically characterized it like for the losers who don't have the money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kind of attitude.
Sort of that attitude. And then, like, I'll give an example. I own Gears 5, right? Mm-hmm. I own the digital copy. I paid for it when it came out. I wanted to play a co-op with Nathan, my brother.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to buy another copy of Gears. Like, let's just keep you subscribed and then we can play this. And there's another game along those lines where it's like, I bought a copy, but he's going to be on Game Pass. We can still play. He doesn't really care too much. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I mean, there's value there to save some money, but for a different reason, I think. And as long as they offer both options.
Yeah.
As long as this subscription does not take away the ability to buy digitally or physically, then I'll never have a problem with this. Yeah. I mean, you look at the average person, paying $15 a month is a easier pill to swallow than cashing out $60 on Atomic Heart and $60 on Wolong. Yep. I'm gonna probably beat both games in 1 month. Yep. You know what I mean? So somebody who's not interested in owning them or is on a budget, they'd be like, you know what? I got my money's worth this month for Game Pass. That's for sure.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, like Robert had said that earlier. You know, he was in a position one month where he couldn't buy a new game, but he was like, hey, I have Game Pass, and I was given this like kind of however long that trial was. Boom. And play a game.
Yeah.
You know, so there's benefits to it too.
Yeah. Also, one thing to note is like for Xbox, they claim, all the first parties are going to be on Xbox forever, right? Just keep in mind that there are some anomalies because Forza, for example, they have to pay, for the music and stuff.
Yeah.
So I know that there are Forzas that have been taken off. Like Forza Motorsport 7, I think they sent an alert like, in 2 weeks we're going to take it off of Game Pass and the digital store.
Oh wow!
So if you didn't purchase it digitally, you'll never be able to again. You have to like buy a copy if you want it.
Yeah.
And then like there's a lot of games like that. Like that Turtles game. Not Shredder's Revenge, but there was another one that came out for Xbox One. And I wanted to buy it because I had it physically a long time ago, but I don't remember what happened. Tried to buy it digitally, it's not available.
Is that the one from Platinum?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to buy a physical copy of the Platinum Transformers game because I heard that was good.
Yeah.
But it had been removed from digital storefronts.
Yeah, so
long
things
time
like
ago.
that will take them out the service or take them off the digital storefront.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one thing that gives me hope that physical will always remain. I mean...
Yeah, there was... Zach, I was just talking to you about this. What game was I reading about? Or maybe it was Ruiner? Or it was a game that was supposed to be available... on Steam, and for some reason like they took it off almost immediately. Maybe it was Alice Madness Returns actually. It was a game that was supposed to be available on Steam, and there was some sort of issue, and for I think it was an extremely long time that game was just taken off of Steam with no word on when it was going to come back. And so unless you found a physical copy of it,
Metal Gear collection's in that place right now too. I've been looking at it, trying to get it on 360.
Yeah.
Or the 360 store. It's the 2, 3, and Peace Walker. It's like the trilogy or the 3 in one package.
Yep.
You can't buy it digitally on PlayStation or Xbox right now. And it's been like that for like a few months.
Yeah.
That I know of.
They're back now, but there was
there
something.
is?
No, not them. Something. Something.
Oh.
Something. There was something.
Go buy it right now.
Yeah.
There was something similar happened with all of the Call of Juarez games. Like the rights got passed off from one publisher to another or something, but they just all abruptly got taken off of digital storefronts. They're back now. I can only vouch for the fourth one, Gunslinger. That one's good, but at the time I hadn't picked it up, so I didn't know if I was going to be able to.
That's like I think what's a game called? Save Me, Mr. Taco. It's this Game Boy looking 2D platformer on Switch. I think it's on other platforms too. But Nicalis did something bizarre with the publishing for that, and there was an issue with the creator. So if you want to play the original version of that game, unless you downloaded it, you'll never get to play it because the rights reverted back to the creator. And then in order to republish it, to put it back on the eShop, he created like a definitive version because I don't think he was allowed or he couldn't get hold of the original version. And so there's it's Save Me Mr. Taco Definitive Edition or whatever the hell they called it. And that sucks, It's like if you're wanting to play, it's that, like Dom said, the double-edged sword thing. I mean,
That was me.
Andrew. Sure. I mean, I agree with Dom. These services are cool. To Zach's point, different people have different needs. I want to collect everything. Zach is collecting minimal numbers of things. But also think of like families, right? Like that's one of the things I get a little frustrated with some of the people online who will talk about games, and they get this attitude of like kind of not caring how expensive the hobby is. And it's just like, bro, like this might be cool for you, but like if you're a parent and you're working 2 jobs and you're barely making ends meet and you got a couple kids and they want entertainment, they want to play games, and you want to be able to provide for them. I mean, like a store like GameStop, for example, like is incredibly critical because you can go in and buy a used system at a fraction of or a relative fraction of the price of buying it new.
Yeah, I think fraction is overstated.
Yeah, but it's significantly cheaper, and you're getting cheap games. And as soon as you move away from physical media, that starts to become a problem because then if it's only digital, it's like, okay, well, You know, most of the time digital games are full price, and so that's problematic for somebody who doesn't have a lot of money. But then like the subscription service comes in and kind of helps you with that, right? So it's like, oh, okay, I'm a parent. I can't buy $60 games all the time. But for $15 a month, or in the case of like Switch Online, it's much cheaper than that. It's $20 for a whole year. I got a whole bunch of games my kids can sit and play, and they're entertained, and I'm good.
See, that's why you should just get a Steam Deck, because you get deep discounts on all your games. You don't have to pay for online. Great modding potential. Save you money in the long run.
It's still a high barrier to entry, just because of the cost of the platform.
But I will say I do.
But I wasn't finished. But for the Nintendo catalog, though, I think they've reached that point that Dom's talking about that we're not looking forward to. Is that classic Nintendo stuff they're keeping from you? You know, they're not letting you buy it, and that's incredibly frustrating. Like from Nintendo, I mean, look at like 3D Mario All Stars, already delisted from the eShop. If you happen to get a digital copy, you're good. If you have a physical copy, you're golden. But like they just took it away. And then like limited releases, like the localization of the original Fire Emblem, the NES Fire Emblem, was limited time. It's just like, look, cut the crap. It's like this stuff is too hard to get in its traditional form. I get that you want to be greedy and you want to rent everything, but at least give us the option. It's like I should be able to buy every at least first-party Nintendo game that is in the Switch Online catalog. I should be able to buy all of them, and they're not letting you, and that sucks.
I agree to an extent, but then I think they're almost forced to do it this way because they're going to run into issues like the Wii, right? So as hardware, you know, changes over the years, right? Your Wii, you have a bunch of the virtual stuff downloaded on your Wii. That was 2 generations ago. Now you're on the Switch. You can't touch those unless you plug in your old Wii, right? So like now, what we were talking about earlier, I don't think the plan is to take anything away from the subscription. Just keep going. Because I mean,
no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like the NES games, you cannot buy them on Switch Online. So yeah, you're saying like you want that option. It's like if I want to buy something, I can, or if I subscribe. Right. Nintendo's not giving you that option with their old games. It's gone. Now, even if I have to keep rebuying it, because that's what they did with the transition, like 3DS, right? They had the Virtual Console, and then the Wii had it, and then the Wii U had it. If you bought on one, you weren't automatically given it on the other. And like that pissed people off. But it's like, you know what? I'd rather be pissed off in that scenario where I still own it at least. Like if I got to buy everything again that I had on Wii U and Wii on my Switch, I'll do it because at least it's mine. Yeah. But like once the Switch era dies, and like let's say we move on to the next platform, at some point your service on your Switch is going to end. They're going to say, we don't offer Switch Online here anymore. And so all those games that you enjoy playing and having on the go, they're going to look at you and say, oh, your access is cut off. Unless they're just like, well, you can keep them now, which, okay, then I'll be happy. But in the meantime, they're saying you got to rent it. And then they'll cut the service off. And then it's just so frustrating.
As the guy who has to edit this podcast, I'm going to say I'm looking at the length that we have so far. And the podcast is over. So if anyone has any last...
Just wanted to confirm the game I was talking about was Alice Madness Returns. Cool. And that it was delisted after only 4 months of being relisted due to a DRM issue.
Good talk, guys. Good talk. No, I'm good.
I would just like to end with one last thing in case we don't record again before this month ends. What month are we in?
March.
It's March. Okay, so I believe at the end of March is when the Wii U and 3DS eShops officially shut down. So anyone, because this is in theme with what we're talking about a bit, anybody who wants those games that are in those shops should go and buy them. All that stuff's going to just be dead by the end of this month. So you have just a few weeks left.
Quick PSA before we sign off. The 3DS and the Wii U are both easily hackable. Nintendo cannot take these games away from you.
Oh, no.
Learn how to take care of yourself. Take control of your own electronics. Thank you for listening.
Until next time.
Yeah, until next time.
Bye.